Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if we can find our seats, silence our cell phones, as I am doing as well. We're about to get started. Actually, do not close any of the doors because we don't want everybody to freeze tonight. So the doors left open will get the heat from the hallway. Just got to be quiet when we go outside. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Wednesday, the 28th day of January in the year 2026. This is a regular meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 6 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 6:07 p.m. May I have a roll call for the commencement of this meeting? Councilperson Brooks.
Present.
Councilperson Zupa.
Here.
Councilperson Efros.
Present.
Councilperson Little.
Present.
Councilperson Gilmore. Not here yet. Councilperson Singh.
Here.
Councilperson Griffin.
Here.
Councilperson Lavaro. And Council President Ridley.
Here.
We have 8 council members in attendance at 6:07 p.m. Can we kindly rise for a moment of silence, please?
Carolyn Oliver Fair. Of Reverend Caroline Nelson. I'd also like to dedicate this moment of silence to Renee Good and Alex Preddy.
The flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States. Nation.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Council President Ridley and the members of the Municipal Council, in accordance with New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall, the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2026, and filed in the office of the City Clerk on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, January 23rd, 2026 at 9:05 p.m. to the mayor, Municipal Council, Business Administrator, Corporation Council, local newspapers, and posted on the city's website. So I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Okay. So council members, before we move on to our regular business, we do have an item that is marked late on the agenda that was discussed at the caucus last night. And that would be item 10.34, City Resolution 26-042. This is a resolution awarding a contract with Meridian Health, Inc. for the provision of the Employee and Retirement Health Plan, third-party administrative provider network services, self-funded plan as an extraordinary unspecifiable service, also known as an EUS. Council members, may I have a motion to add item 10.34, resolution 26-042 to the agenda?
Motion.
Who made the motion?
Councilman Efros.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Council President Ridley. On the motion to add item 10.34 to the agenda, Councilperson Brooks.
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
And we'll mark you present at 6:11 p.m. So we now have all 9 council members present. Councilperson Singh.
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin.
Aye.
Councilperson Lavaro.
Aye.
and Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Motion carries 9-0 to add item 10.34 to the agenda. Okay, council members, in our regular order of business, I'm going to start with the first reading ordinances.
Sean,
Yes.
we pause for 1 second. I just want to address something. Today, the council has been getting a lot of calls in regards to sightings of ice in the city. And I just want to let the public know we did reach out to public safety, and I'd ask if our BA can give the official response from public safety.
Yes, so those are false reports. So there has been no ICE activity that's been reported in Jersey City. I confirmed that with the public safety director. There were warrants being issued and warrant squads going around to do certain business related to the state and state police, but it had no involvement with immigration and no involvement with ICE.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we said that publicly because there's a lot circulating on social media. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. If you would just allow me to read them into the record. So we're going to start with item 3.1, City Ordinance 26-001 is an ordinance amending Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Article 11, Department of Public Safety, Sub-Article 1, Division of Police, and Chapter 160 Fee Schedule established, Subsection 7, Fees for the Department of Public Works of the Municipal Code to reform the off-duty and public works rental for nonprofit and cultural events. Item 3.2, City Ordinance 26-002 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Parking for the Disabled of the Jersey City Code, designating reserved parking space at various locations throughout the city. Item 3.3, I believe the BA would like to address the council.
Yes, for item 3.3, as discussed at caucus, we'll be withdrawing that.
Thank you. So item 3.3 has been withdrawn. No need to read it into the record. Skipping on to item 3.4, City Ordinance 26-004 is an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of Block 11612, Lot 3, more commonly known by the street address of 95 Morgan Street, from 95 Morgan Street Development LLC. And item 3.5, BA.
Yes, as discussed at caucus, their attorney was not present to answer any questions that council may have, so we are going to withdraw that as well.
Peter and Sean, if I may, thank you for that consideration. But since then, I met with the applicant and I withdraw my own objection. You can stay on the agenda if you're okay with it.
We're okay with it. The council's okay with it.
Okay, we'll leave it.
We're good?
Yes.
I'll read it into the record. Item 3, and I appreciate it, council members. Item 3.5, City, get the camera on me. Item 3.5, City Ordinance 26-005 is a franchise ordinance granting permission to 20 VANW LLC by it managing member Hangguan Zhang, if I could be mispronouncing that and I apologize, allowing the installation of concrete stairs that extend into the right of way beyond the boundary lines of Lot 38, Block 12003, and are for the benefit of Lot 38, Block 12003, commonly known as 20 Van Wagon Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey. Council members, I'm going to be taking a vote on items 3.1 through 3.5, with the exception of 3.3, which has been withdrawn. Councilperson Brooks.
Aye on all.
Councilperson Zupa.
Aye on all, and just for my colleagues' benefit, 3.5 is a franchise granting the extension into the right of way. Yesterday, I didn't have the benefit of speaking with the applicant, but who I spoke with this evening. The sidewalk will not be infringed more than it already is. The sidewalk's clear, and to the residents of Van Wagenen Avenue in that neighborhood, there's going to be no change at all. Just that there will be new stairs that look nicer than what's there currently. So I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Councilperson Efros.
I vote aye on all.
Councilperson Little.
I vote aye on 3.1, 3.2, and 3.5. Am I allowed to ask questions about 3.4? Sorry, this is my first meeting with first reading ordinances on the agenda.
Of course you can.
Okay. A constituent brought up to me a possible concern with this, that it may have used to be a site for, I believe, a gas station or a car repair shop or something like that, and may require site remediation. this is a property being sold to the city for a nominal fee of $1, but I wanted to know whether the council would be provided with the environmental report prior to the sale.
And also, just so we're all clear on the council, these are all first reading ordinances.
Yes.
So your
Yeah.
vote isn't
Mhm.
your final vote, just to be clear. And if the BA can get us that information before the next council meeting, that
Will
would
we
be
vote?
great, before we take an affirmative or negative vote.
So just to explain to the council, first readings, it takes one vote to introduce an ordinance, but then we need to publicly advertise the ordinance and for a public hearing and final consideration of adoption, and that's usually at the next council meeting.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I do understand that. I wanted to ask this question, and if anyone is able to provide an answer about whether we will receive an environmental report before the next meeting.
I believe it was already provided to the city. I think it might have gone to the old council, but I'll make sure with the new emails and all your accounts set up, we'll make sure you have a copy as well.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Then I vote aye on 3.4 as well. Thank you.
So you're voting aye on all with the exception of 3.3, which has been withdrawn, correct?
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Singh,
Aye for all.
Councilperson Griffin,
Aye.
Councilperson Navarro,
Aye for introduction.
Council President Ridley.
Aye for introduction.
Items 3.1 through 3.5, with the exception of 3.3, which has been withdrawn, are all introduced unanimously 9-0. Okay, council members, before we move on to the regularly scheduled agenda, as discussed in the caucus, we do have a motion to defer to item 10.4, Resolution 26-012. And I believe the motion is being made by Councilperson Zuper. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Clerk, I so moved.
Thank you. And may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Council President Ridley. On the motion to defer to item 10.4, City Resolution 26-012, Councilperson Brooks,
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa,
Aye.
Councilperson Efros.
Aye.
Councilperson Little,
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye.
Councilperson Singh,
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin,
Aye.
Councilperson Navarro,
Aye.
and Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously 9-0 to defer to item 10.4, City Resolution 26-012. So with that being said, I'm going to ask Councilperson Zupa to read the resolution into the record.
Yes, and it's an honor to offer this resolution, and I thank my colleagues for continuing to celebrate our diversity here in our city. It's a resolution observing and celebrating the third annual Muslim Heritage Month here in Jersey City. Whereas in the spring of 2023, the state of New Jersey established January as Muslim Heritage Month, and whereas this marks the third annual observance of Muslim Heritage Month in the state, which celebrates the traditions, contributions, history, patriotism, advocacy, civic engagement, and philanthropy of the Muslim community. And whereas Jersey City is renowned for its diversity and inclusivity, with a population that reflects a rich tapestry of cultures and communities, and it is fitting that the city acknowledges and celebrates the contributions of its Muslim residents. And whereas New Jersey has the fourth largest Muslim population of any state, with approximately 320,000 Muslims, representing 3% of the total state population, and Jersey City alone is home to between 25,000 and 30,000 Muslim residents. And whereas the primary goal of Muslim Heritage Month is to combat stereotypes and prejudice against Muslims by highlighting their positive contributions and profound impact on society. And whereas the Muslim population has been growing in the United States, and today's Muslim American population is a tapestry of ethnic, racial, linguistic, social, and economic groups. And whereas in the United States, nearly 50% of Muslim Americans have reported experiencing religious discrimination, with that number rising to 64% for Muslim Americans whose appearance identifies them as Muslim, such as women who wear the hijab or headscarf. And whereas there's a need for public education, awareness, and policies that help people be culturally competent, when describing, discussing, or addressing the impacts that Muslim Americans have on all aspects of the society of the United States. And whereas the incredible contributions and heritage of Muslim Americans have helped to build both a better New Jersey and a better United States. And now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Jersey City that the Jersey City Municipal Council hereby recognizes and observes January 2026 as the third annual Muslim Heritage Month in Jersey City. And be it further resolved that Jersey City will promote awareness of Muslim Heritage Month through community events, educational programs, and collaborations with local organizations to highlight the rich cultural, historical, and societal contributions of the Muslim community, and encourages all residents to join in the celebration and recognition of Muslim Heritage Month to foster greater understanding, unity, and appreciation for the diverse heritage of our community. And I just want to acknowledge Arjuman Juwaria, who's I've worked with very closely. She went around Hudson County to bring these resolutions before each governing body, and is the reason why we have the third annual Muslim Heritage Celebration here in Jersey City. So thank you.
So before we give the big clap and congratulations, let's take a vote on the resolution first to make sure it passes the City Council. So with that being said, Councilperson Brooks,
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa,
Aye.
Councilperson Efros,
Aye.
Councilperson Little,
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore,
I think it's always great for us to highlight and acknowledge all the different diversity here in Jersey City. So I'll probably vote aye.
Councilperson Singh,
Aye.
Councilperson Griffin,
When I was a child, my father converted to Islam, and when I was 17, I took my Shahada. And, I understand the need for this. I know my father is pretty happy that his hometown is recognizing the Muslim community, and I probably vote aye.
you, Councilperson Labarre.
Just want to acknowledge Arjumand and for bringing this resolution to the city council, and to Councilman Zupa for his, as I said, first to the key, the first resolution on the city council from a city council person. So, and to all the community leaders, thank you all for coming out. Thank you for your contributions to Jersey City. You make Jersey City a stronger and richer community because of everything that you do in the among the Muslim leadership in the community. Thank you all. I vote aye.
And Council President Ridley.
Always happy to celebrate our diversity here in Jersey City. I vote aye.
City Resolution 26-012 is approved unanimously 9-0. Congratulations. Arjuman, would you like to come up to the podium and the council? Would you like to come down and take a picture with?
Selfie time.
Yes, it's going to be your first selfie time.
Going up now? Or she coming?
I don't know.
Ajuan, you have a few words?
You have a few words you going to say or no?
Oh, yeah, she got some words.
You can if you want.
Good evening, Honorable Council President Dennis Ridley, esteemed council members, especially my ward council member Tom Zupa, and fellow residents of Jersey City. Today is a truly remarkable day, a day that fills our hearts with immense joy and gratitude. I stand before you as a proud member of the Muslim community, but also a dedicated community activist and a long-time resident of Jersey City. My name is Arjuman Juwaria, and I am deeply honored as a pharmacist and community activist. Now I'm working with Councilman Tom Zupa as a 8 in community relations, and a proud recipient of the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from our former President Joe Biden, New Jersey Governor's Medallion Award from Governor Phil Murphy, Women of Action Award from Jersey City, and also Daily Point of Light Award founded by our former President George H.W. Bush, and over 26 accolades, local, state, national, and internationally. Welcome to this momentous occasion as we gather to celebrate the resolution and proclamation of Muslim Heritage Month here in Jersey City, led by our esteemed Councilman Tom Zupa, as well as all council members. And also today, we are proud to say that Mayor James Solomon issued proclamation for Muslim Heritage Month as well. So this celebration is not just a formality, it is a powerful testament to our collective commitment to acknowledging and honoring the rich tapestry of our Muslim heritage and its remarkable contributions of our society. I would like to extend my warm welcome to all the community leaders, respected imams, board members of our mosques, and our beloved residents of Jersey City. Your presence here today signifies our shared dedication to building a vibrant and inclusive community. Last year, in September 2023, I embarked on a mission across Hudson County, reaching out to all 12 towns to advocate for the approval of this important bill. Through countless emails, personal visits, and discussions with mayors and council members, I passionately reminded them of the significance of recognizing Muslim Heritage Month in their respective towns. I'm proud to share that my efforts resulted in the approval of this bill in 10 out of 12 towns. This year, after engaging in constructive dialogue with Councilman Tom Zupa, and Mayor James Solomon, we took decisive steps to ensure the approval of this bill, and now we stand here united in celebration. This achievement reflects our resilience and unwavering dedication to fostering understanding and inclusivity within our community. Let this proclamation and resolution serve as a powerful message that we honor our past, celebrate our present, and look forward to future enriched by diversity and mutual respect. Muslim Heritage Month is a time for us to reflect on the profound impact of the Muslim community on our culture, economy, and social fabric. It is an opportunity to recognize the vital role that Muslims have played and continue to play in shaping our society. Together, let us build bridges, foster dialogue, and create a society where every culture is celebrated and valued. Let us use this occasion to educate ourselves and others about the beauty and richness of our diverse backgrounds, promoting empathy and understanding among all. Thank you all for being here today and for your continued support in making our community a beacon of inclusivity and understanding. Let us carry the spirit of this understanding of the celebration into our daily lives, promoting the values of unity, respect, and love for one another. Thank you so much.
Now I'll invite the council to come down and take their very first selfie.
It's an Aussie.
So much. Thank you so much. Good job. And take the picture. I mean, resolution. Resolution.
Got the resolution?
I think you got over there.
The blue one, yeah, blue one, yeah. Okay, whatever we have.
That's all right.
Make one up. She's moved, don't worry about it. Yeah.
But we present the
Everyone just
proclamation, right?
smile.
Where is the other one? We can just.
Yeah, we will hold it, right?
Yeah, where is that? What, the paper? You have the agenda?
The resolution.
Oh,
We'll make sure we have it. Come on.
Why
We're just gonna take the back today. Make sure we. He has to hold it.
Oh, this?
Because
Where do we put that?
Yeah, they don't.
no, resolution.
Yeah, yeah, they had a blue folder.
No, it's not blue.
Okay.
Okay, just bring the, hold on. Ek minute. No, that is not the professional. That is not professional.
Okay, we have to start speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. She got. That's what I got. What's that?
Well, hold it. Okay.
Then we get laid. Now, how's the clerk supposed to take responsibility for that?
Thank you. Selfie.
Congratulations again.
What's up? We got tell her to show me.
Make it quick, make it quick. Come on.
Selfie. And
Congratulations again. All right, council members, while we're making our way back to the dais, just a little housekeeping rules. We're keeping the doors open so we can stay warm in the council chambers. We do have a little issue with the HVAC system, so we want to keep the doors open so we can get that warm air from the hallway. So if you are exiting the council chambers, please do it in a quiet manner. And remember that we're still discussing business. So with that being said, council members, there are no second reading ordinances. We're going to move on to our public request for a hearing. I'm going to be calling the number and the first name of the individual. So everyone here and everyone watching at home, please follow along with your agenda. First speaker, 5.1, Laverne. And I don't see her. Next, 5.2, Dana. Whenever you're ready, Dana.
Okay, great.
You just got to bring the mic up. It's tucked in. Yeah, you go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dana Patton. I've been involved in Jersey City for more than 20 years. Welcome to new council people and new city employees. I'm here to highlight challenges caused in part by policy created in this building and the hope that we can change direction. There's been a systematic removal of poor people from our city, not by addressing poverty, but by pushing people out. Holland Gardens, where people were asked to uproot their entire lives and relocate for several years because the former administration said they didn't have relationships with mega landlords downtown, so they couldn't help keep people in their neighborhood. The housing on Brunswick by 99 Ranch that recently had renovations done. People's belongings were ruined, promises were broken. Some were given new leases that raised their rent, and others said they were offered money to vacate their homes forever. Next is the kidnapping of our immigrant neighbors. A group documented at least 30 kidnappings in December in Hudson County alone. I'm not sure exactly which instances were referred to earlier, but there have been confirmed ICE sightings in Jersey City, parents taken to be deported, families left without loved ones and without income. 90% of the people in Delaney Hall have no criminal convictions. So that framing is a complete lie. The recent protections put forth here against local government being complicit are a start, but people will need money for lawyers, for rent, for groceries. Which brings us to our budget. It's upside down, spending the most to police and punish people instead of supporting them. We haven't really changed anything since Andrew Washington was killed 2.5 years ago. Homeowners that look like me with reliable income are always going to complain about taxes. But if instead you focus budget and policy priorities at people who are struggling the most, then everyone can be okay. I voted for James Solomon, but accountability begins day one. So I'll start with the words that have really been bothering me. The people, not the powerful. Because that implies that the people aren't powerful. But all power belongs to the people. And that's not a slogan, it's a material truth. Mega landlords derive their power from the rent that 70% of people in Jersey City pay. Corporations here get their power from our labor, and politicians get their power from consent or apathy of the people of Jersey City. In the past 200 years, maybe we've forgotten, but as fascism increases, we, the people, must take that power back. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.3, Finnegan.
Hello, my name is Finnegan Patton, and I'm here to address some issues that I think the new city council and mayor should be focusing on. First off, I want to address the homeless. I think that this year, people should pay attention to those less fortunate than they are and provide them with basic necessities such as food and shelter. I believe that the city should give those in need safe places to sleep and daily nutrition for free without any extra costs. I would also like to encourage everyone else to do their part and help out someone they see on the street or asking for money on a train and give them assistance, whether that be offering money or directing them to a shelter. Whatever the case, I think it is important to do our part and care for our fellow peoples. Secondly, I would like to talk about an issue that is very important in our community. I remember I was in school one day, and I heard that the parent of a kid from the grade above me was going to be deported, so the family had to flee the country. If you hadn't already guessed, the issue I would like to talk about is ICE. They have been breaking apart families and ruining lives. For what? For a paycheck? For racism? It's just not right. We need to be doing something to stop our fellow citizens from being separated from their families on a weekly basis. Without them, Jersey City wouldn't have the same community as it does. We have to do our part to keep these people safe. Thank you.
Finnegan, how old are you now? How old are you now? 12. Well, don't rush to get 13. I'm proud of you, Finnegan. 12, man.
Thank you so much, Finnegan.
So the council's already stealing my thunder. I was going to give him a big compliment, but Councilperson Gilmore beat me to it. I was just going to say, Finnegan, well done. It's not easy doing public speaking, especially someone at your age. So congrats. So I still said it anyway. All right, our next speaker, 5.4, Leslie. Good luck topping that.
I have a 13 or 14-year-old also, so I do commend you in being socially aware. We need this generation, of course. My name is Leslie Sperber, and resident Jersey City. Good evening. Congratulations on your job. Looking forward to the next few years. So I'm here tonight to talk about school crossing guards. It is a citywide public safety issue that I believe is run through the police department. Please don't confuse it with the school board. I want to note that I am here tonight alone, but I am representing many parents who could not make it tonight. So this is just planting a seed. You'll hear more, I'm sure. I have 2 points to make on this topic of school crossing guards. The first topic, school crossing guards are equipped with a whistle, a handheld stop sign, and a fluorescent vest. They're stationed at the busiest intersections throughout Jersey City, where they're expected to stop traffic during the morning rush hour when school begins. The school crossing guards are doing the job of traffic cops once the cars enter. However, they are not traffic cops. Their job is to safely cross kids and families going to school and leaving school. They aren't trained to stop the cars, they aren't paid to stop cars, and they did not sign up for a job to stop cars. And the reason why I'm speaking about this is not just as an observer. My kids have been in Jersey City public schools. I've lived here for 16 years, and I have become friends with them. So I do talk to them quite frequently and see where they move around. I urge you to pair all station school crossing guards with a traffic cop, or better yet, consider a partnership with the Hudson County Deputy Sheriffs to help protect them and the kids that they cross. Now, my second point is the chronic absence and intersections without station guards. Snyder High School has a cop sometimes. However, students report that it's inconsistent. Grand and Jersey intersection sometimes have cops with the crossing guard, but there's documentation of them leaning on their cars during the morning rush hour while kids are trying to cross from the light rail to MS4. Bergen and Boswick also has not had a guard in years. And when a cop does come, they stay for about 20 minutes. That's not the full shift. PS 37 near Hamilton Park, it's been a struggle to have crossing guards stay when traffic is going down Erie Street to Holland Tunnel. There needs to be a solid plan to ensure consistent coverage and for the kids walking to and from school are safely crossed. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.5, Paula. Paula here? No? Next, 5.6, Janhitha? No? 5.7, Gina? I didn't see Gina.
I was not here.
5.8, you didn't see Edward, did you? No? Tina was here. Is Tina here?
Well, she's not here now.
Okay. Councilman Gilmore, you're going to have to deal with her. 5.10, Bill.
Bill's not here neither.
Oh, he's here.
Oh, Bill said, okay. Trying to get through this agenda.
Thank you, Coach. So my name is Bill Lillis. I'm a resident of Jersey City, a parishioner of Our Lady of Sorrows Church, and also a member of the Jersey City Public Health and Safety Committee. Those who are previous elected have heard me and my fellow member Anne Marie talk on this issue time and time again. So our committee, the Jersey City Public Health and Safety Committee, has been advocating for the hiring of outreach workers to go out on emergency calls involving individuals experiencing either a mental health and/or substance abuse issue. We've been pushing for this even before George Floyd was murdered. We were pushing for this even before Andrew Washington, a resident of Jersey City, was shot by a Jersey City police officer. Those of you that know the incident, Mr. Washington was having a crisis, but it says something when one law enforcement officer shot the individual and the other individual used a taser. That to me proves there was inadequate training for those officers. So as I said, this committee has been pushing for this, and we look forward to working with you, working with the mayor, and working with the newly elected Director of Public Safety to get this on the ground. We know there's an Arrive Together program, but that has proven inadequate. We know there was state funding awarded to the Hudson County Anti-Violence Coalition, but money for that was not issued. So here's what we're pushing for in next budget, right? The mayor has made this clearly stated this is one of his goals to make happen, okay? And I've been impressed by reading about the newly elected safety director. He seems to be on board for this. So instead of hiring another 15 officers, what we're advocating for is hiring these outreach workers in the next budget. Put this program on the ground. The Washington family has been advocating for this for years. The residents of Jersey City deserve this, and it serves the needs of the city financially and from a health perspective. So, Mr. Gilmore, we have worked with you in the past. Councilman Solomon, when he was in office, we worked with him. We look forward to seeing this happen. And sad to say, right, we in America are seeing very clearly that law enforcement improperly trained causes death to American citizens. We don't need to have this happen anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker,
I can just say-
5.11.
Excuse me, Sean.
Oh, sure,
I can just say,
sure.
Bill, thank you so much. We campaigned on this in our campaign in Ward D. And so this is near and dear to the work that we have going on in the Heights and Slopes especially. I'll have one of my council aides talk to you. I would love to work together to build out this program and commit to this with you.
This is Councilwoman Little in Ward E. I also want to share in the commitment to this. I am actually very disappointed to hear from you that that the Seabrooks Washington Act grant funding has not come through for the Jersey City Anti-Violence Coalition movement. And that's a real problem. But even, you know, even if and when it does come through, my understanding is that was a 2-year pilot and we need to be looking into sustained funding. So thank you for raising that issue.
Hi, Bill. Michael Griffin here. Thank you for your support in our community. You know, born and raised in the Monticello and Greenville area, we witnessed a lot growing up. And what a lot of people don't know is that Mr. Washington, that was the second incident with police where they used their guns. And you know, if we have the right people out there, professionals, to assist with people having crisis, I think that you know, we can definitely stop a lot of the killing in our community by law enforcement.
Okay, Sean.
Okay. Our next speaker, 5.11, Kevin Davis.
See Kevin.
Next speaker, 5.12, Laura.
Good evening. My name is Laura Moss, and I'm the president of the Courthouse Park Advocacy Group. On behalf of our organization, I want to welcome the newly elected council members and to thank the returning members who have supported our efforts over the years. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, the Courthouse Park Advocacy Group is a local nonprofit formed in 2020 by the residents of Journal Square. Our mission is to ensure that the entire parcel of land at 595 Newark Avenue in the Hilltop neighborhood of Ward C becomes a public park for the community once the Hudson County Administrative Building is demolished. With the cooperation of the previous administration, the project's already made substantial progress. The property's been subdivided, consultants have been hired to design the park, additional consultants are in place to prepare demolition and construction bids, and the city has committed funding towards the project. So while there's still hurdles ahead, we're moving along really well and we're in a good place. So we're also looking forward to working with Mayor Solomon, who was engaged in this while he was on the council and is still supportive. We expect several milestones to be reached in 2026, and our role as community advocates is to keep this project on track. We meet monthly with the representatives from Hudson County, the current owners of 595 Newark, to ensure transparency and that our community remains part of the process. The future Courthouse Park represents our only chance to create substantial public green space in Journal Square, a neighborhood that, unless you've been living under a rock for the past 5-10 years, you might have noticed has undergone a pretty substantial transformation. This council will be in office as the project moves forward through its next phases, and you get to be here for the fun part, the actual build out and the groundbreaking and the actual park. So we hope we have your support going forward. I also want to acknowledge my new councilman, Tom Zupa, who has been involved with this since its early days and is well up to speed, taking over from Councilman Baggiano, and also Councilman at Large Lavaro, who played a critical part when he was council president while we were still finding our footing back in 2019. So we appreciate that. And finally, we're happy to meet with any council member individually to answer questions or walk through details of the project. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to working with you on making Courthouse Park a reality. And good luck to you all too. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, 5.13, Anne Marie.
Hi, I'm Anne Marie Nazaro. I'm a parishioner at Our Lady of Sorrows Church over on Claremont and Ocean, and I actually did all my grammar school years in that school of that church. I am also a member of Jersey City Together. It's a coalition of over 30 faith-based organizations and nonprofits, and we work in a number of areas. My particular area is with Bill Lillis, whom you've heard from, on the Public Health and Public Safety Committee. So those are my roles, and I live over on the west side and walk in Lincoln Park, or occasionally come down to Liberty Park to walk. But I'm so full of hope tonight, and I want to say that to all of you. I'm full of hope as I say, congratulations and a heartfelt congratulations to President Ridley. Congratulations to Councilor Lavaro. We are so glad to have you back. Congratulations and welcome to Councilors Griffin, Singh, Brooks, Zupa, Efros, and Little. And of course, to the old hand, good to have you here, Councilor Gilmore. That's the hopeful part. I want you to walk with me to the end of this year and say I'm here again January 2027. I can barely say such a big number, but I want us to be here in 27, hope rewarded. I want us to be saying in 2027, congratulations, you had a magnificent first year. You did open the windows and the doors and you gave us the light and the air we needed, and you saved lives. No more Andrew Washingtons, please. We must do that together. We believe in Mayor Solomon and we believe in every one of you. And I am so tired of Aunt Denise, who has to sit here and come to so many council meetings and not know that programs have been fully effectuated. We helped and supported the application of the Hudson County Anti-Violence Coalition, and we are so sick that no money came to support what needs to be done. We're not alone. The other counties that had cities being awarded, they didn't get money either. We need to get a bus or get down there somehow. And
Thank you, Emery.
we must have the money.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you before a year, but in a year, we'll have champagne.
I guess I couldn't mute her having that, right, the champagne. Next speaker, 5.14, Eve.
Hi, I'm Eve Taylor from Ward E. I don't live at Portside Towers. That's exactly why I'm here. Last year's council unanimously passed Resolution 25-564, creating a renter protection special investigation committee with subpoena power. That committee was for every tenant in Jersey City, and last year it failed every single one of us. Tonight I'm asking you to investigate, please, why tenants have no protection from harassment. Section 260-7 is our anti-harassment law. It says, and I quote, any tenants desiring to remain in their units may do so without provocation or retaliation from landlords. Harassment includes no heat, inadequate security, frivolous eviction filings, and any action that would cause a reasonable person to fear for their life, property, or their home. Director Richardson's office exists to enforce Chapter 260, all of it, but that office is choosing which provisions to enforce and which to ignore. This council writes the laws. The landlord-tenant office and municipal court do not get to rewrite them. We searched for evidence if landlord-tenant has ever filed any summons under 260-7. When we asked why there aren't any found, we were told it's the prosecutor's job, but they can't prosecute what they never receive. And the complaint office where tenants are directed instead is closed half the week. The complaints that get through are automatically dismissed. Everyone points somewhere else. Landlords harass tenants out of their homes, and no one is accountable. It gets worse. Modi Brisk, 96 summons issued, only 1 fine paid. 14 months later, nothing is moved. Summons are adjourned for 4 years, dumped into phantom courtrooms with no dates, fines are assigned, cases closed, and money's never collected. And after Equity Residential pled guilty to 71 counts for failing to disclose the superintendent at 100 Warren Street, the prosecutor said Richardson's department confirmed compliance, but nothing in that building actually changed. Something is deeply wrong. Councilman Gilmore told me last summer he would look into the ticket fixing at municipal court. Please take action now. You have the subpoena power, please use it. Map the process, show the city where violations go to die. Because right now, the only people who understand the system are the landlords who profit from it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, if I,
Sure.
Councilperson Brooks, Ward B, I just want to say I was a rent control tenant for 8 years and was elected to make sure that every tenant can live under lawful and dignified conditions. And I look forward to working with my colleagues and the Solomon administration to make sure that no tenant experiences what you've described. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.15, Danielle. Not here? Oh. Okay, 5.16, Amir.
Good evening, President and members of council. Before I get started, just like to say thank you for your service. My name is Amir Esmail. I was born and raised in Jersey City in the Heights, currently live on Monmouth Street in between 3rd and 4th. I'm here today to talk about the proposed Warrior Weed Dispensary on Monmouth Street. I know that you were all probably in receipt of the email about it, and they pulled their application, so they're not here and it's not on the resolution list anymore. But today I just wanted to briefly summarize what we've heard directly from the community regarding this application through our petition. At a high level, the objection to this proposal is broad, consistent, and deeply felt. This isn't an opposition to cannabis as a policy. It's about the location, the saturation, and the neighborhood fit. The residents unanimously felt that this particular block, which is predominantly residential, family-oriented, is not the right place for another cannabis dispensary, especially given how many already exist within a walking distance. Second, I wanted to talk briefly about what we experienced while canvassing the neighborhood, because I think it helps paint a picture that the signatures in the petition probably don't do on their own. When we spoke with neighbors, the reaction was pretty consistent. Everyone we spoke to was visibly annoyed. Some of them rolled their eyes, some of them took a deep inhale and exhaled in annoyance with great frustration. Everyone was disappointed that another dispensary was being proposed in this neighborhood. Over and over, we heard the same version. Another one, we already have plenty. This isn't the right play for this. Importantly, not a single person we spoke to expressed support for the dispensary. I was actually kind of nervous going out talking to strangers and neighbors that I might run into someone who's like, wait a minute, I'm pro dispensary, and they kind of have like an awkward stance. But I actually didn't run into that. And after a while, I found that the opposition was almost a guarantee, and that anyone in the neighborhood you spoke to was visibly frustrated with it and in strong opposition. This kind of consistent reaction, not apathy, not mixed views, but genuine annoyance and fatigue, perfectly sums up the community's thoughts on this proposal. Finally, if I can, end on an ironic note and take a moment to acknowledge someone who actually has a dispensary up for approval tonight. I don't know if he's here, Michael Price of Grass House Company. Oh, you're here? Okay. I wanted to acknowledge him because I was at the Cannabis Control Board where Warrior Weed was petitioning to get a license, and so was Mr. Price. When I listened to Mr. Price's testimony, he said that he had the opportunity to open up a dispensary in the Heights where he lived, and he intentionally chose not to do that and open up a cafe instead. I'm sorry if I'm paraphrasing, Michael. He said that he didn't want to introduce a dispensary into his own community. And it wasn't until he secured a property on Tunnelly Avenue, a more appropriate location, that he moved forward. I'm not aware of the rest of the circumstances.
Amir, thank you. Your time is up.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Thank you.
Sean, can I say something?
Yes.
Thank you, Amir. While I was canvassing in downtown Jersey City, this is the concern we have been hearing, especially from young parents, young families, that we have a lot of dispensaries in one block, 3 or multiple. So this is something we talked about it yesterday. But thank you for doing the research. Thanks, Samir.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.17, Josephine. Josephine Page? No. Our next speaker, 5.18, Kevin.
Days in the back.
Kevin's not here? What? Here. I'm kidding. I wanted to get in on the Councilman Gilmore's, you know.
I was same thing.
Good evening, Council.
Wait, does that say you are a lawyer? No, I'm sorry.
Still not a lawyer. But keep an eye out when that sign might change.
All I can read is attorney. Maybe I need a new lenses prescription.
Yes, it says, I am not an attorney. Good evening, Council President and City Council. On Inauguration Day, each of you raised your hand and said, I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. It was hard to hear that after everything we've been through. And I should acknowledge that this is largely a new council, but not entirely. 2 of you have heard us for years, while we asked for help which never came. I'm sure you can understand why that is still very upsetting to us. But we are choosing to move forward in good faith again. And in that spirit, I want to reflect on some of those words together from 2 weeks ago. The United States Constitution guarantees due process and equal protection of the law. The New Jersey Constitution goes even further. Article 1, paragraph 1 describes that all persons have unalienable rights, among them enjoying life, protecting property, and pursuing and obtaining safety and happiness. We are not safe, we are not happy, and our property is not protected. And in case anyone thinks property doesn't apply to renters, a lease creates what the law calls a leasehold estate, a recognized property right. Every dollar illegally taken from us is our property. The Constitution protects us too. And paragraph 2 says that all political power is inherent in the people, and that government is instituted for the protection, security, and benefit of the people. Protection, security, benefit, the people, not the Pompidou, not the pilot agreement, the people. It was the closing of your oath that stuck with me the most. You swore to uphold these constitutions under the authority of the people. 1 year ago today, most of you were standing where I'm standing now. You spoke at the first ever Jersey City People's State of the City address. You stood with the people, and then the people elected you. Now you sit on the other side of this room. You have our votes, you have our trust, and you have our hope. We ask that you always remember the oath you took 13 days ago. Do what the previous council did not do. Protect our homes, ensure our safety, and govern for the benefit of the people, under the authority of the people who sent you here. How many more meetings of this council will it take for the housing violations to stop? Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.19, Tom.
Good evening, Council. 2 pieces of paper are being handed out. There are actually 2 copies of the same document, actually. This is a certificate posted in the lobby of 100 Warren Street, a state document from the DCA listing the property owner, the manager, the maintenance contact. But Jersey City has its own requirements, 3 of them. In 1991, the city's Board of Adjustment granted a variance to build these towers, docket 9025. That variance specifically approved the construction of 2 superintendent apartments. It was a condition of approval. The building I live in exists because the city bound my landlord to provide an on-site superintendent. Chapter 254 of your code requires buildings like ours to have a resident superintendent. And Ordinance 260-2F1E requires landlords to disclose, quote, the name and address of the superintendent, unquote. Not a janitor, not a maintenance company, the superintendent they are required to have. If the state certificate does not include that disclosure, there must be a separate posting that does. There is not one. Look at this certificate. It covers a different building. And look at who is listed for 100 Warren Street. No one. Not a single person is designated as superintendent for my building. There is only a maintenance service provider, quote unquote, and his address, 155 Washington Street, the other building. No unit number, no phone number. A phantom super for the wrong building without the unit number ordinance 260 requires. They're playing hide the super. One person listed for both buildings, called something other than a superintendent, address at a different building, no unit number proving residency, no phone number for emergencies. They pleaded guilty to 71 counts for failing to disclose a superintendent at 100 Warren, and this certificate still does not list anyone for 100 Warren. The copy on the left is from May 2025. 71 guilty counts came in August. The court gave them until January to fix it. $2,000 per count. That is $142,000. In December, Director Richardson asked us to photograph what was posted. We did. We sent those photos on December 16th. The certificate was unchanged. Then came January 8th. Over 50 of us were on the court Zoom. Prosecutor told the judge that Director Richardson's office had verified compliance. The copy on the right is from today, January 28th, 2026. Look at it. Identical, same document, same missing information. Nothing has changed. On the left, 71 guilty counts. On the right, free to go. Same paper, same game, different outcome. Please, we ask you to investigate. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.20, Daniel.
To start, I wanted to thank Councilman Efros, Councilwoman Little, Councilman Gilmore, and Councilman Navarro for all volunteering to be on the new Renter Protection Special Investigation Committee. This committee was created to conduct a serious and thorough review of how renter protection ordinances are enforced across our city. It is not a symbolic body. It has the authority to request documents, issue subpoenas, and compel testimony under oath from city departments where necessary. Those powers exist to ensure transparency, accountability, and a full understanding of how enforcement operates in practice. Now, with that being said, we are still without 24/7 uniformed security guards at Portside Towers, despite the fact that Chapter 218, Article 1 of the Jersey City Code of Ordinances states that every owner or agent of an owner of a multiple dwelling of 100 or more dwelling units shall furnish a minimum of one uniformed security guard for each residential building. As I've discussed previously, just September of this past year, a young woman residing at Portside was traumatized after, while standing in front of Portside Towers East at 155 Washington Street, she realized there was a man behind her standing with his pants unzipped, touching himself. He sped away on a scooter, but then came back and hid behind a parked car, staring at her. And when the police finally arrived, they were not able to find the man, who had since sped off again on his scooter. And just last summer, one of my fellow tenants had their car window smashed in right in front of 100 Warren Street. Earlier than that, in late 2024, an attacker entered our building chasing a woman whom he was attacking, leaving a trail of blood, putting all of us tenants at risk. That same year, a bullet pierced a child's window in our building. Further, I often walk past the Korean War Memorial at night, and I don't feel particularly safe when doing so. Many of us have witnessed drug deals outside the Korean War Memorial. I very often, at least when it's warmer, smell weed in that area, which for one seems pretty disrespectful to our veterans and fallen soldiers. And moreover, the entrance to the Korean War Memorial is supposed to be guarded with a chain every night from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. per Ordinance 07-153, adopted in 2007. And yet, in over 18 years, it has not been guarded once, because our uniformed security at Portside is supposed to do it. It's a uniformed security that does not exist. Per NJAC 13:55A, uniformed security guards must be trained in homeland security and counterterrorism, communications and emergency response, theft protection, detention of suspects, first aid, CPR, and more, with continued training every 2 years. Neither a concierge nor a security camera can do any of that or offer that level of protection. This is basic safety. The law requires that we have 24/7 uniformed security guards. I ask that this council, and especially the members of the Renter Protection Special Investigation Committee, use your investigative powers to ensure that these city's laws are enforced properly for the safety of myself and my fellow tenants. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.21, Marshall.
Good evening. My name is Marshall Fight, and I'm a tenant at Portside Towers. Like many residents, I have watched the same issues persist for years at Portside. We continue to experience the absence of an on-site superintendent and the lack of the required uniformed security guard. These are not minor inconveniences. They affect resident safety, maintenance response, and our overall quality of life. What's most troubling is these issues continue despite existing laws and ordinances meant to protect us as tenants. The problem is not a lack of rules, it's a lack of enforcement. As a tenant, it's discouraging to see these violations go unaddressed while residents are expected to comply without question. When enforcement is inconsistent or in some cases non-existent, it sends a message that tenant protection is optional. With the new council in place, I'm hopeful, but we need meaningful enforcement, real transparency, and a real investigation into ongoing violations, not just a continued discussion. I'm speaking tonight in support of the Portside Tenant Association and the many residents who just want the laws on the books to be enforced. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all act.
You. Our next speaker, 5.22, Connor.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Connor Sears, and I'm a tenant at Portside Towers. This is my second time speaking before the City Council this year. Since this council turned over on January 15th, I want to acknowledge something important. This new council appears more engaged and more willing to take action on long-standing issues in Jersey City. Residents notice that, and we appreciate it. I'm here tonight not because conditions at Portside have improved, but because many of the same issues have persisted for years. Like many residents, I've watched ongoing violations continue without meaningful enforcement. Portside lacks an on-site superintendent and required uniformed security guard. Service and maintenance requests routinely take weeks or even months to resolve, if they're even addressed at all. Tenants are also charged separately for water, sewer, and trash through RUBS. Under Jersey City rent control, rent is supposed to cover all housing costs as set forth. This creates serious transparency and compliance concerns and reflects a broader pattern of withholding information from tenants. Over the past year, the city passed strong tenant protection ordinances banning algorithmic rent setting, requiring disclosure of how rent increases are calculated, and clarifying that claimed exemptions do not excuse transparency, and strengthening enforcement. These ordinances are not abstract. They determine whether rent increases are lawful and whether tenants can trust the notices we receive. What we're asking for now is simple: follow through, enforce. This new council has an opportunity to restore confidence, not by passing more laws, but by enforcing the ones already on the books, setting clear expectations, and holding large landlords accountable. I'm speaking tonight in support of the Portside Tenant Association and residents who are exhausted from asking for the same basic protections year after year. I urge this council and the administration to match your stated commitment with real enforcement and measurable action. Thank you for your time and your service to Jersey City.
Our next speaker, 5.23, Jessica.
Good evening, Council. It is such a pleasure to see you all here on the dais tonight. My name is Jessica Brand, and I'm a tenant at Portside Towers in Ward F. And tonight I want to address comments made by our Councilman Frank Gilmore. He made an important point at recent meetings that we should hold council members accountable only for the powers they possess. Very logical, and I agree. So let's do that. On August 20th, 2025, the previous council voted 8-0 on Resolution 25-564 to create the Renter Protection Special Investigation Committee. Councilman Gilmore voted yes to approve the resolution and was appointed to that committee. That resolution granted him powers beyond those of an ordinary, excuse the language, not ordinary, council member, Under NJSA 4825, committee members can issue subpoenas to compel testimony under oath and to compel document production. Testimony and document production. The New Jersey Supreme Court confirmed this authority in 1983, and that committee that was established had the same subpoena power as the Watergate Committee had, right? Testimony and document production. The committee met once, maybe twice. Some emails were exchanged, and then on January 15th, with the new council being sworn in, and the committee's original membership was over. So that lifespan of that committee was 148 days, during which we submitted 2,072 additional C-Click Fix tickets and a single email each day to the council with links to each ticket and a daily violation summary. And in 148 days, not a single subpoena was issued. The committee could have compelled our building management to disclose who the resident superintendent is, what unit they live in, and how long they've held that role. Because right now we don't know, and in emergencies like fires, which actually happened, our distress calls land in a call center in the Philippines. The committee could have subpoenaed Director Richardson to explain why mandatory fines on a per tenant per day basis aren't being summoned. It could have called the municipal prosecutor to explain why those fines aren't being collected and why taxpayers are on the hook while millions in mandatory housing violation penalties go uncollected. If our daily emails and C-Click Fix tickets were not enough, we also came to every city council meeting to ask for help. These violations were hard to miss, and those of you in the council with listed city email addresses received your first daily violation email today. Councilman Gilmore says government moves slowly. He's contrasted that with what happens when someone doesn't pay a parking ticket. That system works fast. But 282 days of documented violations by $1 billion landlord, that system doesn't seem to work at all. I'm asking you to convene the committee and issue the subpoenas, get the documents, get the answers. Thank you.
Next speaker, 5.24. Nia? Vanya. Oh,
Get there.
I'm sorry. Vanya.
It's like Uncle Vanya.
Yeah.
Okay. There
Got
you go. Good evening, council. Nice to meet you all. I'm here to ask a simple question. Where's the money? The city's money and our money. Let me start with the city's money. In August 2025, our landlord pleaded guilty to 71 counts of failing to disclose a resident superintendent at 100 Warren Street. The court gave them a deadline, January. Comply or pay $2,000 per count. 71 times 2,000 is $142,000. That money was supposed to go to Jersey City, revenue for municipal services, but the landlord didn't comply. The certificate is unchanged, and somehow the court was told compliance was verified. So where is the $142,000? Who decided Jersey City shouldn't collect it? Now let me tell you about our money, the tenants' money. No resident superintendent means a reduction in services. A reduction in services means a reduction in rent. That's money owed back to tenants. But it's bigger than that. Under New Jersey's landlord identity law, landlords must disclose the superintendent's name, unit number, and phone number when it is required by law. If you don't disclose the super, you're not in compliance with state law. And under Jersey City Ordinance 2260-3, if you're not in compliance with the landlord identity law, you don't qualify for any rent increase. Any rent increase. And here's what's important. This is true whether or not 100 Warren was ever subject to rent control. The landlord identity law is state law. It applies to every landlord. There's no federal litigation standing in the way of this enforcement. None. So every increase our landlord has imposed while hiding the superintendent, illegal. Not just the fine, the increases themselves. And there's nothing stopping this city from enforcing that right now. So when I ask, where's the money? I'm asking about the city's $142,000 in uncollected fines. I'm asking about the rent reductions tenants are owed for services not provided. And I'm asking about every illegal rent increase imposed while our landlord refused to tell us who our superintendent is. And I'll say this to the administration. Until the city collects that $142,000 it's owed, don't take one more dime in pool fees from residents. Don't charge us for parade permits. Don't raise taxes to cover budget shortfalls created by the city's own deliberate inaction. You want revenue? It's sitting right there, $142,000, exposed by 71 guilty pleas, exposed by an unchanged certificate. We have the emails, we have the photos. Find out who knew what and when they knew it. Then collect the city's money and direct our landlord to issue the refunds due us as Ordinance 260 mandates. Equal protection under the law, as each of you swore to just 2 weeks ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.25, Susan.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Susan Roca, and I'm a Portside tenant, specifically an East Tower tenant. And while the distinction may not matter much in the larger scope of our tenant association and what we're trying to advocate for, it does matter in the story I want to share tonight. Some people say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Others say showing is better than telling. And some people rely on a metaphor. Tonight, I'd like to use all three. Firstly, a photo. If someone could hand this to Sean. I only have one. Earlier this evening, I took this photo just outside the entrance to the East Tower. The panel you press to enter the vestibule before unlocking the door, or if you're lucky, have the concierge, if they're there, buzz you in. The panel has looked the same for the last 6 to 8 months. The plate hangs crooked to the left, loose, unscrewed, unsecured, and visibly broken. And all it would take to fix is a single screw, a repair that would take less than 5 minutes. And yet day to day, month after month, building maintenance staff walk past it, equity residential personnel whose office is right in our lobby walk past it, and it's still there dangling. I once asked a maintenance worker why it hadn't been fixed. He smiled very earnestly and said, "Oh yeah, that's bad." And the broken panel remains. Now, of course, the panel is the least of our concerns at Portside. It doesn't even make the list, but it tells a very clear story. If Equity Residential cannot or will not fix the smallest problems that cost almost nothing, then tenants have no reason to believe they will address the issues that really matter. What matters most is this: a live-in superintendent and 24-hour security as required by Jersey City law. Not optional, not negotiable, required. At the last meeting, we heard something new. You asked questions. You asked for information. You stepped forward and offered to organize a committee. And we appreciate it. It was exciting to hear that. So now comes the next step. We are asking you to act where the previous council did not, to enforce the fines that were already been levied, to collect them, and to enforce change, to make it clear that large corporate landlords are not above the city's laws. Because when a company ignores a missing screw for months, what they're really testing is whether anyone is paying attention. Tonight, we are asking you to prove that you are. Thank you.
Can I say something, Susan and Kevin and team? Thank you for doing what you guys have been doing for months or maybe years. I have actually sat with you guys there, I remember. I'm really hoping for a solution as soon as I hope all of us can figure it out. But thank you for doing it.
Join the committee.
I'm sorry. Yes, I would, after they are done, that's what I want to suggest. I would love to get invested with you guys. Thank you.
Do you need that photo back? Do you want that photo back?
Can I ask a question of Corporation Counsel? We had 4 members of the council interested in being on this committee, and we're interested in ideally next meeting having it on the agenda to amend the previous resolution 25-564, which only allowed for 3 members. since Councilmember Singh just said she was also interested in being on the committee, will having a fifth member result in our being subject to the Open Public Meetings Act?
Yes. Yes.
Let the law department answer.
Yeah.
Hello. Now you have to choose the council if you like me or not.
No, we can have them, we can have five. If I can comment,
Let's let the law department respond and give us the
okay,
official.
I'll let the law department respond and then I'll say my piece.
The corporation council is enjoying her second day on the job. So the answer to your question with respect to 5 people in a room is yes, that would be a violation of the sunshine laws. With respect to your first question, I am going to defer to my predecessor, who is very helpfully facilitating the transition in the law department.
We just need to update the resolution. We can do that next meeting, but there can be maximum 4. Can't have 5. Or else
No,
it's a meeting.
that's not accurate, is it? I mean, you can have 5 members in a committee. We had an inclusionary zoning committee and a rent control committee that had literally, the inclusionary zoning had 7 members. We had to sunshine all the meetings. And for my part, I would want, given that they've been coming for years and there's skepticism about the kind of results and what actions we're taking, I would be more than open to sunshining the meetings and allowing that to be seen in transparency and in the light for everybody. Yeah. So that they can see whether we're taking action or not. And I hope we can fulfill on your expectations and be able to take action on all these violations and enforce the laws.
So
Thank
law
you,
department,
Rolando.
would that then create, we would have to create an ordinance for that, or is just amending the resolution?
We can amend the resolution, but we do have to include sunshine. Include all that.
And we would also have to make sure that staff is available for those meetings, right? Our clerk and stenographer, et cetera.
So
Yeah,
all the-
I'm getting volunteered already. Okay, good. That's nice.
I think all the efforts are absolutely worth it. You guys have been taking out time pretty much 2 times a month. So whatever we have to do.
Okay.
I think
So
we
we'll
can
discuss as a council offline, how everyone wants to agree to set this up and
Thank you.
who wants to be on it.
And I
And
think
see if
we're
it's
doing
something that
5
needs legal advice, we wouldn't be able to provide that in an open sunshine meeting.
Can we just make sure we commit to getting it on the agenda for the next city council session?
Sure.
I commit to
Okay,
that.
thanks so much.
Thank you. And so if we are moving forward with sunshineable, which I support as well, I think then other council members also, we're not capped at 4. So if that is something that we're doing, then if others are interested, I guess we can discuss.
And point of information, Madam President, since the resolution will be on the next council and caucus agenda, can we have, as a director, the municipal prosecutor come and just answer our questions while we wait for this committee to form?
Definitely. And we can also include courtside litigation in our closed session when we schedule that as well, so that everybody's up to date. So we'll make sure that everybody's up to date on the issues. And then as a council, we'll talk offline about how we want to set up these committees. All right.
Just to be clear, we are not bored with your faces. It's just that we want to make sure that we can do something about it.
All right, Sean, let's go.
What was that?
I said, okay, Sean.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, but just another thing I just wanted to know, since I know we're going to talk offline. But Councilperson Lavaro alluded to the rent control and the inclusionary committees that we had, that we were meeting during a pandemic. So am I to assume that we're going to meet here in the council chambers in person?
Well, if you recall, my recollection is that the inclusionary zoning committee started in 2019. And then it, as it was getting towards the end of its life there, it stopped because of the pandemic, and then we resumed it in July. So we were meeting in person, and then ultimately, as well as the rent control committee was also meeting in person. And then the rent control never resumed after after the pandemic hit.
See, I stand corrected. I'm not always right,
Yeah.
but I'm seldomly wrong. No, anyway, I do remember that now. Thanks, Councilperson Navarro. So when you met in person, it was here in the chambers?
No, we had the
At the
caucus room.
caucus room at that
then-
time, so,
So we'll discuss. Okay,
yes.
So
very good.
would it be more convenient though for this to, I mean, we can discuss offline, but maybe it might be more convenient to do it virtually.
Yeah, let's
We'll
discuss
discuss
offline.
offline.
We'll talk offline. Everybody has a lot of questions. Let's not hold up the public.
Nope, nope. All right, our next speaker, 5.26, Suzanne.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly,
Sorry for the delay.
no, thank you for all your words and actions that you're looking to take. You know, most of you are in new roles on the council and you have a real moment to make a true defining, you know, pivotal moment in your careers. So we hope that that starts with this and that you will impact 70% of your voting population. So thank you. I'm still going to talk about your power though. So Jersey City operates under the Faulkner Act. It's the state law that defines exactly what this council can do. And I think it's worth walking through those powers together because you have more power than you might realize. First, the power of investigation. So under NJSA 4069A-37, this council can investigate any department, office, or agency of the municipal government. You can form an investigating committee, and that committee under NJSA 4048-25 can issue subpoenas. It can compel witnesses to appear. It can compel the production of documents. This isn't symbolic. The New Jersey Supreme Court has confirmed this is real legal authority. If you want to know why a department isn't enforcing the law, you have the power to put the director under oath and ask. Second, the power of advice and consent under NJSA 4069A-43. When the mayor appoints a department head, you confirm them. That means you're not a rubber stamp. You have the authority to question those appointments. And once you've confirmed a director, you share responsibility for their performance. You can call them back. You can ask hard questions. That is your role. Third, the power of the purse. Under NJSA 4069-A-36, you approve the municipal budget. Every department that comes to you asking for funding can be asked to account for their performance. You can tie resources to results. You can demand accountability before you write the check. Fourth, the power of removal. Under NJSA 4069A-37, this council can remove any municipal officer other than the mayor by a 2/3 vote for cause, with notice and an opportunity to be heard. If a director is failing to do their job, you don't have to wait for the mayor to act. You have the votes to act yourselves. Investigation, confirmation, budget, and removal. These aren't abstract concepts, they're levers. The Faulkner Act put them in your hands for a reason, so that when something goes wrong in the city, you have the tools to fix it. For years, we have come to this chamber documenting failures of enforcement, failures of response, failures of accountability. We've done our part. We have built the record. We have shown you exactly where the problems are. Now we're asking you to do your part. Use the levers you have, launch the investigations, question the appointments, scrutinize the budgets, remove those who fail. The law gives you these powers. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.27, Mark. Is Mark here? Not here today. 5.28, Ezekiel.
First and foremost, I'd like to congratulate the council members on starting their term. And I'm hopeful that this term and the term of the new mayor will be one that makes Jersey City a fairer place for all of its residents. My name is Ezekiel Mabin, and I've been a tenant in Portside Towers for almost 2 years. This is my first time speaking at a city council meeting. And anyone who knows me will tell you I have a lot of opinions about a lot of things, but I'll spare you those and focus my remarks on the situation at Portside. My wife and I have been grateful to be a part of the Jersey City community, and living at Portside allows us to do that, in part because of the rent control that was restored by the hard work of the tenants union and the other tenants in the building. And rent stabilization is often maligned, but it helps people stay in the neighborhoods they love and know what their next rent payment will be, which is a very valuable thing in a very uncertain world. And while I love living in the community, I've been tremendously frustrated by Equity Residential and its refusal to follow the law, not only on rent control, but on the numerous violations that I and my fellow tenants face every day. As my fellow tenants speaking at this meeting have noted, our building is required to have both a uniformed security guard and a resident super, but has neither, despite frequent reports of these violations. And requests for repairs often go unresolved. I myself had a screen door that was broken in my apartment building that was not repaired for 6 months, despite numerous requests, and many of my fellow tenants have faced far worse. We also face opaque charges for amenities, as many have described, which is illegal under Jersey City law. And it's often very difficult to get in touch with management over the phone when you have an emergency. Many of you campaigned on helping to protect tenants and stand up to landlords who ask for tax breaks and then do not give back to the community. And I believed in you and the new mayor and actually volunteered for many of you. And I'm hopeful that you and the new administration will push to see the laws already on the books enforced. Again, there's not much new that needs to be passed, just see the existing laws enforced. And I'm hopeful that by the end of your term, we'll see violations that we face every day ended, and we'll be able to work constructively with you to see the violations of tenants all around the city addressed. And it looks like I have a little bit of time, so I actually will break my promise to focus solely on Portside and say that I want to urge you and your colleagues to strike while the iron is hot and work to turn the land behind the Colgate clock over to the city as a park, because now at the start of both the new administration here and the new administration in Trenton, there'll never be a better time to do it. So thank you, and thank you especially to my fellow tenants who I would not be able to live in Portside if it weren't for their hard work. So I just want to say thank you to all of you.
Our next speaker, 5.29, Shannon.
Good evening, Council. My heart is moved by the discussion that was had a few moments ago, and my speech will be especially relevant given these new developments. On January 8th, over 50 tenants logged into the municipal court Zoom. Our legal counsel was on the Zoom, the press was on the Zoom. I think our councilman was on that Zoom, and we thank you for that. We all heard what the prosecutor said. And as you have heard multiple times tonight, he told the judge that Director Richardson's office had verified compliance with the resident superintendent requirements at Portside Towers. We know that's not true. We walked through our lobbies that morning. Nothing had changed, same certificate, the same missing information. The court was told something that contradicted the physical evidence in public with dozens of witnesses watching. That's not a misunderstanding. That is a court being misled, and there must be consequences. This council has subpoena power under the Faulkner Act. And as we know, the updated resolution related to the investigative committee will be read at the next council meeting. That means you can hit the ground running. You can have subpoenas ready to issue in hand at that very meeting. Call us. I'll raise my right hand and testify to exactly what I heard and exactly what's posted in my lobby that morning. Dozens of my neighbors will do the same. Call our landlord. Put the local management under oath. Ask them, did you hire a resident superintendent? What unit do they live in? What's their phone number? When did you disclose this information to the tenants? Call anyone named on that certificate, but that might be difficult. When we call the numbers listed during emergencies, we are routed to the Philippines. But you can have the Jersey City Police serve whoever is in the leasing office, the manager, the maintenance provider. Put them under oath. Ask them, where is the superintendent for 100 Warren Street? Ask them for security logs proving whether they secure the Korean War Memorial each night. And this is important. Before anyone claims that that question is stayed by litigation over Ordinance 218, it is not. That is a separate contract with the city. If anything, their failure to perform this should result in having that stay lifted immediately. Call Director Richardson, ask him what his office investigated. Ask him what he told the prosecutor. Ask him how he verified compliance when nothing in our office had changed, in our lobby had changed. Call the prosecutor, ask him where he got his information. get to the bottom of what happened, because right now it looks like a municipal court was given false information in public and the landlord walked away from mandatory fines because of it. If that's what happens, somebody needs to answer for it. You have the power, you have the willing witnesses, you have the clear path to the truth. Please use it. And thank you so much.
Our next speaker, 5.30, David.
Good evening, Council President Ridley and members of the council. First, I want to say congratulations. I am going to depart from my prepared remarks because what I've seen here tonight has really kind of turned my whole world upside down. I've never, like this sort of engagement between the council and the people who have spoken, not just us from Portside, but it's like it is night and day from the previous council. And from any experience I've had working with local government before, and it really does raise my expectations and it does raise my level of hope. I don't think I need to tell anybody this is a very difficult moment in our nation's history, and I feel good about the representation that we have in Jersey City to help meet that moment. Having said that, I think we've also seen tonight that we at Portside are not going to kind of sit on our hands and just hope for the best, right? We're going to actively engage. And I want to say, as quick as I'm going to be to voice my objection, if I think that you all are getting off track, I'm going to be just as quick and just as vocal in support if I see that you are working to enforce tenant law and to pass pro-tenant legislation. I had a friend who worked for Senator Paul Wellstone, and she used to say, if your representative does something that you agree with, call their office and tell them, because typically no one contacts the representative unless they want to complain. I want to say one further thing, which is that I'm going to, as with the rest of us, I'm going to be back here either way. But if I am as happy as I am tonight, if I feel good about the direction that we're going, I will finish my speeches in under 3 minutes. Thank you.
We will hold you to that. 5.31, Barbara.
Good evening, City Council. I'm sorry to tell you, but I'm a believe it. I'll believe it when I see it person. So you're going to have to hear the prepared speech. As you've heard endlessly tonight and at your meeting 2 weeks ago, and in fact, for the last 3 years, some of you, Portside tenants are begging the Jersey City Council to do the job you promised voters you would do, enforce the laws of this city. So until that happens, I'm going to just keep recycling the speeches I've delivered over the past 3 years. I've got plenty of them, sadly. Here's one from last autumn. Good evening, City Council. If I was asked to sum up in a word this City Council, after watching it for 3 years, since I moved into Portside Towers in 2022, it would be this single word: still. The word still has many meanings. So let me use my 3 minutes to be clear. Not the still that describes the calm, reassuring feeling that a tenant gets, knowing your home is secure from intruders, your rent is stable, and your apartment equipment or structural breakdowns will be repaired relatively soon after reporting what is sometimes an emergency. No, not that kind of still. Still, as in the kind of still that I hear from so many of my journalist friends who have covered city councils nationwide and know that it has been 3 years since tenants at Portside Towers won a ruling by the Jersey City Rent Leveling Board confirming that our buildings are indeed protected by Jersey City's rent control law under Ordinance 260. Yet tenants are still seeking enforcement. So my journalist friends asked incredulously, still? City law mandates buildings like Portside Towers have 24/7 uniform security. Yet we still don't have that 24/7 uniform security. City law mandates that buildings like Portside Towers have an on-site superintendent. Yet we still don't have an on-site superintendent in either of our buildings. 2 buildings means 2 supers. My ask tonight is still the same ask that I've made for the past 3 years. Please do the job you promised residents you would do when you asked them for their votes. Enforce the laws of the city. I'm an optimist, so I'm looking forward to the day when I have a different single word to sum up the city council. I hope someday I can say, to sum it up in a word, finally. Thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.32, Michelle.
Something different. Good evening. Regarding Executive Order 2026-002, establishing a citywide audit of all tax abatements. 13 days ago, Mayor Solomon and you all took an oath to serve the people of Jersey City. Will you keep it? Mayor Solomon, during your campaign, you promised accountability. You said the days of giving cover to large developers were over, but your executive order on pilot audits may be telling a different story. Let me share some facts every taxpayer should know. In 2019, an independent audit found Jersey City was losing $74 million a year because pilot properties weren't paying their fair share. When auditors asked for records, the city couldn't produce them, not for 2018 and barely for 2017. The city was billing developers based on outdated numbers and hoping nobody would notice. But Mayor Solomon, you noticed. In 2017, when you served on this council, you and Councilman Yoon and Lavaro demanded answers about whether developers were paying the profits they owed under their pilot agreements. You got, in Councilman Lavaro's words, quote, false assurances, empty rhetoric, and wasted tax dollars. So why does your executive order now exclude the worst offenders? For example, the worst of the worst offenders, Portside Towers, owned by my landlord, Equity Residential, operated under a 30-year pilot that expired in September 2022. Their financial agreement required profit limitations. It required annual certified audits. It required them to pay excess profits to the city. For 24 years, did anyone check? Did anyone enforce? Did anyone collect what we were owed? Your executive order will never answer those questions because it only covers active abatements. Council members, New Jersey gives the city 6 years to pursue contract claims. That window is still open. However, every month we wait, Equity Residential and other pilot offenders move further from accountability. When a municipality knowingly fails to collect debts owed by specific developers while ordinary taxpayers pay full freight, that's selective enforcement. It's a breach of fiduciary duty to every resident of the city. If it's intentional, that would be corruption. But Mayor Solomon, I don't believe that's your intention. You have a choice to address the issue. Amend your executive order and expand the audit to include recently expired pilots.
Michelle.
Thank you.
Sean, if I can just make a comment to the administration, if you could, that's pretty insightful. If we could bring that to the mayor's office and their attention, to the mayor. I don't know if he did. I don't think it was intentional. So I think maybe there's a need to amend that order because those are uncollected monies and
desperately needed monies that the city needs. Okay.
And just for clarity, that 6 years is essentially a statute of limitations during which we can retroactively audit the 30 years of, okay,
Just the statute for contract claims.
statute for contract claims. Okay.
Brittany, if someone from legal can speak just as it relates to, who we can call, when we doing these investigations as it relates to if they're in the state of New Jersey, if they're in the country. So what is like our subpoena powers, how far do they go? Because I would imagine a lot of these higher ups from Equity Residential are not in New Jersey. So I want to see if we can kind of like safeguard to where we can get to who we need to talk to.
It's anybody within the state. They should have a registered agent within the state, as we've talked about before. We can speak about that, and we're also just gonna have to speak about how the committee's gonna operate as a whole, particularly when it's open.
So it's anyone in this, anyone that have an address or anyone that's physically in the state?
Well, they would need to be physically in the state to get the person there to serve them.
But if, let's say John Jackson, he's the president of Equity Residential, and so I guess my point is we can't send the subpoena to the establishment and use that as, I guess, confirmation that they were served.
You can try to ask for an agent or to ask for somebody to represent the corporation. We can talk about the specifics of that, but you can try that to the registered agent in the state and see if they're able to produce anybody, if we don't have a specific person or somebody within the state, but we can talk about that.
It's also anyone doing business in the state. We can ask another entity to domesticate a subpoena out of state. But if they're doing business in New Jersey, they have to register in New Jersey with someone with an address in New Jersey to accept service.
So we do have somewhere to send it. It's just see what the response. we
Up
get.
here too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let the record a note that someone actually said it was good that I'm a lawyer. It was Councilman Gilmore.
Peter, question, with the tax abatements, is there a database where we can find all of these expired tax abatements that have been expired less than 6 years?
So the tax collector in Jersey City has a record of all the information. I don't know if it's a specific database, but they have records that would identify what tax abatements have historically been in Jersey City, which ones are expired, which ones are ongoing, the different payment plans for them.
All right, Sean.
Okay. Our next speaker, 5.33, Thomas H. Is Thomas here? Okay. Next speaker, 5.34, James Carroll. I don't see James. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next speaker, 5.35, Karen.
Karen says she's coming. Yes, y'all can stand in unison.
You can stand together, but are you listed one after the other? Perfect. You can stand right up there. We'll just let Karen go first.
Good evening. The new Councilman Joe Brooks and the members of the Jersey City Council. My name is Karen Caritini, and I live at Point McGinnis, 2555 Kennedy Boulevard, Jersey City. I'm here tonight because I'm worried. My biggest fear is that we could lose our HUD subsidy. This building could ever become a market rate, and I'm a senior on a limited income. I could not afford to stay, and I cannot afford to move. This is my home, and I need it to remain affordable for the seniors. I lived here for 40 years. This is where my life is, and now I'm getting older, and I use a walker, and that changes everything. When you have mobility issues, you feel every crack every door that's hard to open, and every unsafe area. The elevators, when they don't work right, is not just inconvenient, it's frightening. Seniors can feel trapped in their own homes. So we hear there may be a new ownership. We just don't think new owner. We think we'll be protected and we'll be able to age safely. That's why I'm supporting this purchase. We've been told the new owners will keep this HUD subsidized and affordability, and that they will make the building safer and more livable for seniors. Please support this. Please help protect our homes and our affordability. Thank you.
Thank you. Speak.
Karen, hi, Councilmember Brooks. Karen, thank you for making the trip. Nice to see you. Used to be your neighbor. I just want to let everyone know that the prospective buyer has reached out. We were supposed to meet on Monday, but we were hit with the snowstorm. So I've committed to meet with the prospective buyer. And before committing to support their bid, I want to make sure that they're going to do right by the residents. So, you know, you have an elevator that's been out for, you tell me how long it's been out. So we want to make sure that they're going to do right by you. So I appreciate you making the time to come down, and thank you.
Our next speaker, 5.36, Michelle.
Good evening, Council President and Council members. My name is Michelle Stenmark, and I'm a flight attendant, and I'm also a resident at Portside Towers, Ward F. And I'm excited about our new crew. In my job, we get to know our crew members and we do an orientation. We show them around, we show them safety equipment, and we tell them about their responsibilities before we even leave the ground. So consider this your orientation. Welcome aboard Jersey City Flight 2026. We know you all had a chance, excuse me, we know you all had a choice of elections, and we thank you for choosing to serve the people. Before takeoff, please locate your safety information card in your seat back pocket. That's your city charter, the Faulkner Act, the oath of office. We recommend you review it carefully. Some of the previous crew did not. Our flight has been delayed significantly. We originally were scheduled to depart for enforcement back in 2022, then 2023, then 2024, and 2025. And we've been sitting on the tarmac for quite a few years now, watching flights take off, and we were told to remain seated. But tonight, we have a new crew. and we're hoping you actually know where we're going. In the event of emergency, you should know your tenants have no emergency exits. We can't just open the door and walk away. These are our homes. So we need this crew to keep the aircraft safe. Your oxygen masks are powers under the Faulkner Act. Investigation, budget, removal. If cabin pressure drops, secure your own mask first. Use your tools you have. You can't help passengers if you won't use them. Our destination this evening is a place called Justice. I heard it's really beautiful, and I really like to see it. So new crew, welcome aboard. We're glad you're here. Now let's get this flight off the ground. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your new positions.
Thank you for being so creative with this speech, Michelle.
All right, we're gonna let that go on a little bit, Tina, that you're shouting out because we didn't get you to speak, so. 5.37, Maria.
Maria?
Is Maria here? 5.30, okay. Take your time, take your time.
Sorry, I could only see with one eye.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Okay, my name is Maria Smith, and I reside at 2555 John F. Kennedy Boulevard. Been there 20 years, and I love it. One elevator, it doesn't matter. I love it. All my friends, or my old friends, used to hang out. I think there's only, out of all of us, maybe 3 left. I'm one of them. Alive. I'm afraid that if I lose HUD, I will not be able to afford to live anywhere else. I work part-time to make ends meet. I just love my building. I don't want to move, and I can't afford to move. We all get together in the hallways, in the lobbies, and we talk. We love each other. We take care of each other. We cook. And if you like my chicken soup, I give you chicken soup. We're family. We are family. Even with the management. We bake, we cook, we give. And please, we want to keep our building. We can't afford to move at all. None of us. I have notes here. I suffer from Swiss cheese memory. It comes in and out, the idea. We've been told the new owners will continue the HUD subsidize and keep this affordable for seniors. Yes.
Speaking to the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read.
Okay.
Remember, only one eye. What else? Yeah.
Just so you know, you're so adorable, so.
Well, I'll be 77 in July.
God bless you.
Yeah. Subsidize. We're friends. We're family. Even with one elevator, it's like me. You know, something goes wrong, you limp along until you get better, and then you wait for the other one to get approved. You know, the other elevator. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
God bless.
Thank you for making the trip, Ms. Smith. And Chris, if you could get their contact information, thank you. And again, we'll be meeting with the prospective buyers and to make sure that everybody can stay in their homes and that the new buyer, the new owner does right by you. And there's devils in the details, so we look forward to sitting down with them.
We're here tonight. Good evening, Council President Denise Ridley, Councilman Joel Brooks, and members of the Jersey City Council. My name is Sandra Rodriguez. I am the property manager at Boyd McGinnis in Jersey City. I'm here tonight in the support of the purchase of the buildings. I want to start with what I hear most residents fear about losing affordability, their subsidies. Many residents are seniors on fixed incomes. And even though some of them do work, they cannot afford Jersey City market rents. Residents need the stability of the continuing of HUD subsidies and long-term affordability. At the same time, residents live every day with the impact of an aging building. You already know the issues with the elevators. We have one elevator up, the other one is in process of being fixed and hopefully running soon, which creates problems and safety concerns for all the seniors. The new ownerships, their plan is very important to us because they are telling the seniors and telling us a lot of changes will be made, which is great for the seniors. My main concern are the seniors. The elevators, upgrading the units with new kitchens, appliances, and flooring, common areas and updated community spaces like a library, gym, and resident lounges, which would be excellent because the residents right now, they have no place to. We have a community room, we play bingo, but that's about it. So we're looking forward to having more activities for the tenants, and everything working correctly how it should be. So I respectfully ask for the council to support this purchase. I will protect the seniors as much as I can, and I will continue to do everything with them. And stay at Boyd McGinnis with my seniors and just look forward to the changes that the new ownership is saying that they're gonna do. So please consider it. And thank you for listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, Sandra, I have a question. I know, I hear you guys keep mentioning HUD. So what are we talking Section 8?
Yeah, it's subsidized. Yeah, it's rent control. It goes by their income. So they're scared that new ownership is gonna come in and the rent is gonna turn into market rent.
Okay,
Well, all the tenants are telling me, no, I'm scared. I hear this, I hear that. And I keep telling them that nothing's gonna change. I don't think they're allowed to do any of that. I think it continues to stay HUD, subsidized. So their
Right.
income won't change with the new buyers. They did tell us that they will make changes as far as a gym and a library and things for the tenants. But as far as their income changing to market rent, no, that would not change.
Thank you.
That is our fear.
2555 is deed restricted seniors, and its companion building, 2540 is deed restricted Section 8 families. So,
Oh, we have 3.
yep.
And how long is the deed restriction?
I don't have that info. We were supposed to meet with the prospective buyers on Monday, but the storm happened, so we will be meeting with them, and if any other, yep.
Councilman Brooks, after you meet with them, if you can kind of give the council a wrap up. I'm supposed to meet with them, I think, next week also. And I would encourage them, I'll reach out and encourage them to reach out to the rest of the council as well, especially the at-larges, so that everyone can be briefed on the situation.
Thank you.
If I can, thank you to the folks from Boyd McGinnis. Definitely do what we can to protect and make sure that you still have affordable homes and be able to live peaceably here in Jersey City and continue to here. But I really want to direct my comment to the administration and just ask, which office is now or is there an office responsible for monitoring the affordability restrictions or tracking the affordability restrictions? Because my concern here is that we may have lots of properties coming off of their deed restrictions and affordability, and what we're doing proactively to maintain our affordable housing stock here in Jersey City.
Yes, Council, we do have an Office of Affordability. Gigi Galzone is the director of it. She monitors the different agreements we have and works with them to make sure that they're in compliance with all the agreements.
Who is that? Gigi?
I'll send you the information for it if you'd like, Councilman.
Okay.
All right, Sean.
All right, next speaker, 5.39. Jamie M. No. Next speaker, 5.40, Maureen. Gonna pass, Maureen? Okay. Thank you. 5.41, Brett. Brett's not here. Thank you. 5.42, Michael. Michael's coming. Yep.
Good evening, Council President and members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'd like to thank Amir first and foremost because I've never met him before, and I was not expecting that at all. A little reluctant to even raise my hand, and because us cannabis companies tend to get grouped together and kind of hated on. So, thank you, Amir. As he was saying, I had control of a commercial property located at South and Kennedy Boulevard. And I made the choice. I didn't want to put the cannabis business in my neighborhood, so I secured a property on the highway on Tunnelly Avenue. With that being said, I'd like to acknowledge a concern that is understandably top of mind, that 3 cannabis businesses on Tunnelly Avenue were not successful for a variety of reasons. I do not take that lightly and I do not diminish it, but I believe it's important to distinguish the location from the operator. Unlike all of those prior applicants, I was born and raised here. I have never left this community. This is not just a business opportunity for me. This is home. I know the people, the rhythm of the neighborhood, and the expectations residents have for businesses operating here. I understand what works here, and just as importantly, what doesn't. I'm aware that the cannabis resolutions, including the one related to this application, were pulled at yesterday's caucus. I understand with the new council, there may be a need for additional information, clarification, or time to fully evaluate the proposal. Even after investing my entire life savings and 2.5-year local process consisting of constant postponements of hearings, both by the prior local CCB and planning, I respected that process, and I'm here tonight to be transparent, available, and responsive to any questions or concerns you may have. What sets my application apart is not only compliance, but commitment. I'm a social equity applicant who is determined to bring real value back to the city through local hiring responsibility. Through local hiring, responsible operations, and a business model designed for long-term stability and not a short-term gain. Previous failures should not disqualify a location when the operator, approach, and accountability are entirely different. I am here for the long haul. I am accountable to this community because it raised me, and I intend to build something here that reflects that responsibility. In short, not only am I the only applicant approved by the CCB on Tunnelly Avenue who is social equity, who was born and raised here and still residing in Jersey City, I'm the only applicant on the opposite side of the highway, and the location in question, unlike the others, has a proven track record of being retail friendly. And the plan is to put a beautiful building in a dilapidated area of Jersey City that for decades, Jersey City has been trying to revitalize. I respectfully ask the council to evaluate this application on its own merits, on my record, my roots, and my commitment to doing this the right way. Thank you for your time and consideration.
If I may, Councilman Efros in Ward D, thanks so much for the intentionality you're putting forward here. We'd definitely be happy to chat a bit about the project. This is the Grass House dispensary. Okay, great. Yeah, thank you so much. I would be happy to connect and chat about this.
Thank you.
Can I ask you how many people you intend to hire from Jersey City?
All of them.
What's the number?
8 to 10.
Just give me an idea.
He said 8 to 10.
Okay, sorry, I did not hear that.
Depending on competition. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker, 5.43, Catherine.
Hello, my name is Catherine Moore. I'm the person that spoke with Elena asking about ordinance 2604. I'm just kind of hoping I can get there'll be some answers for the second reading in regards to this ordinance. Just as looking at the document is saying that it's been used as a parking lot. It hasn't been a parking lot for at least since 2020. It's been used as the Boys and Girls Club clubhouse garden, and basically it's just a property that was abandoned and reused. We're concerned that the infrastructure around it and the trees that are in front of it all die because of whatever is underneath the asphalt. And under the concrete. And since if it was used as a garage, there's still a lot of plumbing and things that are kind of sticking out of it. So kind of hoping that when they do pass this property on, they're going to clean up all the stuff that's around it, and have it a clean lot, before it becomes a playground for kids. As far as the environmental report, it'd be really nice if that kind of information is available to the public and any kind of other documents before the second reading, so we can take a look at that and review it. When looking in the Powerhouse Arts District redevelopment plan, I see nothing mentioned about this lot 3 on this block. I'm not sure if it was used as a bonus for 107 Morgan Street like 335 Washington Street was. So we're just kind of curious if it has the same details for any kind of bonus. And when this does finally come and happen, the community would love to be involved with the plans as it's being created. But we do feel that we need to take a look at the remediation and make sure that everything underneath it is good, because, you know, they plant new trees, the trees die. You know, so there's definitely something wrong with the land that's underneath it. And that's it. And hopefully that when the city does take over, they will be finally somebody getting rid of the snow removal. It's always one of those sore places. Thank you.
Catherine, I'm sorry, which redevelopment plan did you reference?
The Powerhouse Arts District redevelopment plan?
It's within that redevelopment plan?
Yes. Yes. There's 3 lots. This is lot 3 in particular. And no one in the redevelopment plan, nothing is mentioned in particular as a requirement of what it's supposed to be. As they were saying, you know, in the caucus yesterday, that it was too small, and there's, you know, a building, a condo building that's right next to it.
Mhm.
It's very, very close.
Mhm.
So anything larger, you know, would be impossible to build. But it was a garage, I guess, at some point, and it was demolished in 2005, but it wasn't really completely demolished. And I believe there are some outstanding permit extensions that will need to be remedied. So any kind of legal effects to this property probably should be taken care of before the city takes over.
It's one next to Lively.
No. It's next to Washington Commons, right there. You know, there's 333 Washington Street, 88 Morgan is kitty corner. And you've got the big empty lot across the street.
Where they have compost or community garden.
Yeah, the Boys and Girls Club is right there.
Okay, yes.
They've been there since 2020.
And they have been maintaining the.
And they're just, basically their project is on top of the concrete that was left. It was never really completely demolished. Whatever business that was there before, I can't find any photos, so I don't really know what it looked like in 2005. But it sat empty for about 10 years. Sometimes there was some parking on it, but I don't know if they even ever had a license.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, our next speaker, 5.44, Frank. Frank R. No. 5.45, Diana.
Good evening, Council. My name is Diana Eng. I live at 415 Monmouth Street in downtown Jersey City, the proposed site for Warrior Weed's cannabis store. I understand the application was withdrawn from today's agenda, but given the applicant's multiple attempts to gain municipal approval without community awareness and outreach, I will still use this time to voice my concerns. A central issue throughout Warrior Weed's application process has been the applicant's approach to community engagement, especially with her most immediate community. That is the building the store sits in. The applicant first went to the Cannabis Control Board in 2023 and 2024, but she did not inform any of the other owners at 415 Monmouth that she was pursuing a cannabis license. In fact, after she received CCB approval, months passed by before our HOA heard about it from a third party. Our building only has 5 units and is a tight-knit community, and we were shocked to learn that the applicant had kept her plans from us. That was just one of many examples of a continuous pattern of deficient community engagement. There was a conference call that the HOA requested in September 2024 to learn about the business plans, which the applicant and her counsel joined, but they didn't say much other than repeat that they were not legally obligated to tell the HOA anything. Early last month, the CCB granted the applicant approval on the condition that she works out insurance and quality of life issues with the HOA. And the applicant and counsel sent a letter to our HOA that was received on January 16th, over a full month later, around 5 p.m., leaving only 6 business days prior to today's hearing to schedule a meeting for 10 people. We responded immediately the next day and still have not heard back. The consistent theme is not a single incident, but a pattern of limited and reactive community engagement rather than transparent, good faith outreach to those most directly impacted. And it's important to note the concerns of the next most directly impacted parties, those who live on the block and in the immediate neighborhood. Of the 153 community members who signed the petition opposing a cannabis store at 415 Monmouth, 126 are located in Ward E, 87 people are within 1,000 feet of the location, and 66 people within 500 feet. There are 3 churches and a robust daycare within a 1-block radius of this location. A cannabis store here just doesn't fit, and we ask this council to consider the concerns of our neighborhood. Thanks.
Okay, our last speaker, 5.46, Micah.
Good evening, President and members of the council. My name is Micah Childs. I live at the building attached to the proposed Warrior Weed Dispensary. I'm here tonight to summarize what we've heard directly from the neighbors in the petition. As Amir and Diana have said, objection to this proposal is broad, consistent, and deeply felt. This isn't in opposition to cannabis as a policy. It's about the location, the saturation, and neighborhood fit. As everyone has said so far, the block is predominantly residential and family-oriented. Residents overwhelmingly feel it's not the right place for another dispensary, especially when so many operate within walking distance. According to the Cannabis Retailer City Council approved map as of January 21st, 2026, Jersey City Council has already approved 8 cannabis retailers within Ward E, which meets the 8 per ward limit for Class 5 retailers under Ordinance 25-045. Moreover, Warrior Weed's proposed location, 415 Monmouth, is only 250 feet away from 270 Newark Avenue, a site that already has full city approval. Multiple petitioners commented that there's already plenty of dispensaries in the neighborhood. As Diana has shared, this application is also not being reviewed in a vacuum. In December 2024, this project went before the Jersey City Planning Board. And all the ordinance has since changed and the Planning Board approval is no longer needed. The site and surrounding residential context remains the same. Before the hearing, when we consulted Councilman Solomon and his staff, they advised the Planning Board would likely focus on technical matters such as security and signage. For that reason, the unanimous denial of the Planning Board was especially striking and surprising to us. The board based this decision on 3 findings: poor neighborhood fit, lack of neighborly behavior, and deficient community outreach. Commissioner Torres summarized this well on the record with the following: it just doesn't fit into the community, the process you took, not talking to neighbors, the size of the space, it just does not fit. And with that, I vote no. That conclusion remains valid today. We respectfully ask you consider the residents who live here, raise families here, and invest in this neighborhood. Thank you for your time, and we urge you to deny the proposed license at 415 Monmouth Street when it comes in front of the council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Brooks, I have a question for either BA or Law Department. This particular dispensary, where does it fit in terms of the timeline of grandfathered applications? And then second question, in terms of the number of dispensaries per ward?
I'd have to contact the Director of Commerce to get that information for it. I don't know off the top of my head, but we're going to pull those cannabis resolutions so we have time to get it for next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, new guy here. I just heard, it sounded like he said it was denied by planning. Is that correct? So how's it back on? Is it a certain amount of time before it can go back on?
Again, I don't have the background of that, so I want to verify that before I provide any information publicly about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, council members, that
Okay.
will
Can I just make a comment? Now that everyone's spoken, I just wanted to acknowledge, I know that most of them have left, or all of them are left. To the Portside Towers residents again, thank you for your advocacy and for coming out and moving this council to action. And we will do our best to make sure that we live up to your expectations and the work that you've done to lay the groundwork for us to be able to hopefully do what's right for people of Jersey City. I truly think this is a groundbreaking opportunity, transformative opportunity for Jersey City, to be able to transform affordability here in Jersey City and tenants and renters all across Jersey City and maybe across the state of New Jersey. So.
All right, council members, that will conclude our public speaking portion of the meeting. We're now going to our petitions and communications. Any questions or comments on communication 6.1 through 6.27? Hearing none, there are no officer communications. Any questions or comments on reported directors 8.1 through 8.3?
May I ask some questions about 8.2 just for clarification? We brought up the active versus any audits that we might be able to do for active contracts versus any contracts. I am also just curious, the self audits are supposed to be given to Jersey City from the businesses responsible for these contracts, right? Or who we're contracting with, correct?
Yeah, they provide annual financial statements to the city.
Okay, and the administration is putting forward this executive order, which I think is very important. But just to get clarity, it's because that we don't trust the information that the reports are showing. They're insufficient. They're not being done. Can we just get clarity on the scope of the, yeah?
I'd hesitate to say that it's insufficient or we don't trust them. These pilot agreements are very complicated agreements that involve multifaceted parts of the city, assessments of the buildings, the land, things of that nature. So I think the audits are to make sure that the calculations and that the review and then result of those calculations based on the taxes or the money they'd pay for the pilots are being properly administered by the city, and the information provided by the pilot is accurate at the time they provided it.
Okay, and the agencies responsible for undergoing these audits or for doing these audits, excuse me that I don't have all of the technical language for speaking to this, but the agencies responsible for these audits are usually hired by the businesses we're contracting with, the businesses that receive these pilots, correct?
So they provide their financial statements. I don't think it's really an audit on their side.
Okay.
Or they just, have their internal mechanisms, whether it be a third-party vendor or someone that's hired in-house that provides the information to the city. The city then reviews it, verifies it with the agreement that we have on file, and make sure that we agree with their assessment and agree with the amount that they included in those reports.
And will we be putting out a request for proposals for a third-party vendor to do the audit for us, or are we as a city going to be doing that, running that in-house?
I believe the current intention is to have a third party conduct those reviews, but we're in the very preliminary stages of.
Okay. And if it were a third party, I mean, maybe you don't have this information, but just a question for the administration. If this were to be a third party vendor to conduct this audit, could we make sure that it's not any third party vendor that has also been contracted by any of the pilot recipients?
Yeah, and any example of this, we always have conflict forms. We make sure they're not going to be conflicted before they're obviously doing the work we're contracting to do. There'll probably also be a level of oversight either at the city through the law department or administration to ensure that, any information they need to obtain for these organizations, they have with the authority of the city and that we're helping them obtain it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
And Peter, I have a question about the language. Because it was brought up tonight about expired abatements. Now here it says all abatements. Are we talking about every abatement, even the ones that are expired that can be audited? Or this is just active abatements?
So I have to clarify exactly what you're looking at, Councilman.
We're looking at 8.2, right?
Right. I don't have the letter in front of me myself.
Oh, okay, so it says, okay,
He's looking at the title.
so Executive Order 26-002 dated January 21st, 2026, from James Solomon, Mayor of Jersey City, reason establishing a citywide audit of all tax abatements. Is that past and present? The ones that we can?
What I'm saying is I want to look at the executive order.
Okay,
see what
got
the
you.
language
Thank
is
you.
utilized. I believe the intent is to do all of them. I don't know if there's a cutoff or what exactly the order said, but I'll get the information to you tomorrow.
Okay, appreciate it.
Before we move on, City Clerk, I report to directors, it's actually not on the list, but I understand that there are acting director appointments and that there were letters issued. If we get copies of that as well.
I don't have any of those letters, just so you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Sean.
Okay. On to our claims and addendums number 1, 2, and 3. So council members are going to be taking a vote on claims and addendums number 1, 2, and 3. Councilperson Brooks.
Abstain.
Abstain, you said? Councilperson Zupa.
Mr. Clerk, my hesitancy, and I think Joel's hesitancy too, is it was not part of our packet from yesterday, but if we take 2 seconds to look at it, I'm sure it's a quick review the same way it was, or as the BA, it's payment of claims that were already submitted, bills for reimbursement.
That is correct.
Sorry, sir.
So, Sean, just to, can we just clarify for new council members in regards to the claims? We don't usually, they're not usually typically printed out, but there is a link there that we can access with all the claims.
Yeah, as soon as I received them from a council control, I attached them to the agenda. We try to get them before we publish the agenda, but sometimes because of the amount of claims that are going on, sometimes that doesn't happen. So as soon as I get them, I usually get them by the caucus, but with the snowstorm and everything, I think that held things up. And it is an attachment. You can click on it and you can see all the claims. If you have your tablet with you or your phone with you, you can actually open it up now to look at.
It's all the bills.
It's all bills.
Bills, all the bills from.
Bills for services.
Main council meetings.
Yeah.
If I can just ask a clarifying question, because last night at Council Caucus, we had some discussion about the process of being able to budget out our expenses in advance proactively as opposed to paying bills retroactively. Is this germane to the same conversation that we were having, or is this a
No.
separate
It's,
payment process? Okay.
the resolutions were approved by the council and then they paid the checks basically from those.
Okay.
Yeah, just to clarify the council, the claims are any bills the city owed. It could either be a payment, like the councilman said, based on a resolution, or it could be some things that do not require resolution based on local finance rule or local purchasing rules. If it's under a certain threshold, it does not need to go before council. However, everything has to be in the budget. So these aren't anything that can be paid that were not already accounted for in the temporary budget that the council approved.
And just to clarify, Peter, if the payment get delayed, we'll be paying interest on that, right?
Depending what claim it would be, yes, or service could get shut off, a lot of things could happen. Don't pay your bills.
Yep.
Also, a lot of these claims, while they may not be any interest associated, a lot of the services we do receive are from small businesses, like the food you guys ate. That's that can, I don't know if it's in this. It could be in a claims paying the bill, paying the bills, right? Peter?
Councilman is correct, yes.
And I'll point out, I'm just looking at the first set of claims and I guess it's page 20 of 31. It's, the allocation to the Jersey City Public Library, $5.4 million. It's kind of standard kind of allocations to them that keep them running and so forth. So understand the reservations around this, but
And council, we do have a session that we're scheduling with our clerk, and we'll go into more detail in that session about claims and any other questions that you might have agenda-wise. But they will be on each council agenda. Claims are standard. Okay, Sean.
Okay, so
I think we're still on me.
yes.
Thank you for the delay and the ability to review the addendums. They do appear to all be claims or for services rendered. I vote aye.
Thank you. Councilperson Brooks, you're good with your abstention, correct?
I can call backsies, is that
I'm only asking because it was explained and was
Okay.
looked over, so.
I will, if I'm permitted, I will vote aye. I just want for the record, I don't want to make a habit of, so the public is watching, voting on things that I have not sufficiently studied. I thank you, Councilman Zupa, for taking the time to review that. And for the next meeting, make sure that we Ward B receives and reads all addendum. Thank you. Aye.
Very good. You are permitted to change your vote.
You are permitted to do backsies.
Next, Councilperson Efros.
With similar sentiments as Councilman Brooks, I vote aye.
Before I go any further, the business administrator and I will make sure that a council control is made aware of your requirements, and we'll make sure that for the next meeting, we get them before we publish the agenda.
Thank you, Sean.
Councilperson Little.
Thank you.
Thank you for the commitment to sharing them earlier. I was able to review them on my computer. I vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Gilmore. Did he say aye?
Yes.
Oh, said it too quick. Councilperson Singh.
I vote aye. Thank you.
Councilperson Griffin.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo the same sentiments as Councilman Brooks and Efros, but I vote aye.
Thank you. Councilperson Lavarro.
so to my new council colleagues, I appreciate your new view on this, and it's and past councils have just kind of taken it for granted. I think it's good to ask for it to make sure it's all reviewed very carefully. In the past, I normally voted affirmatively, but I would check it because if there were resolutions, just for your edification, and I'll share what my past experience is. If I voted against the resolution in the past for a contract or something like that, and then that bill came up again to be paid, I would vote against it, right? So I think you can do a line item vote against, right? Correct? Sean, am I correct on that?
Say that again. I'm
Do a
sorry.
line item vote against something on,
Yes, you can.
so for example, and I'm just making it up, if there was a, if
You
there
would
was
just
a
have to provide me with the page number and the
page
claim
number and the yeah.
and who the claim was for. I would mark it down as you voting no on that item.
In those cases, I would vote no, just to be consistent with my vote from previous vote. But I also, in terms of getting it earlier, as I think this through, it's if there's some way maybe to restructure these reports so that we can see what has been approved by resolution and what are below the resolution threshold for review, right? So because we've not, that's our first time seeing it, and I don't know if that's possible, but if they could structure that somehow, then that'd be great. But if not, we'll just do the hard work of trying to figure it out ourselves, I guess.
I'll look into it, Councilman, but a lot of these are uploaded into our new finance software called Edmunds and become a direct report. So I just don't know what flexibility they have with that, but I'll check into it.
Okay. That being said, I vote aye.
Thank you. And Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Claims and addendums number 1, 2, and 3 are approved unanimously 9-0. On to our resolutions.
Can I ask questions before we test our votes, Council President?
Ask away.
Can we ask them as we get to each section of the resolution? Like if we're doing 1 through 10 and you have a question on one of those?
Yeah, so
can we
we're
do it that
actually
way?
gonna do that. We're gonna go from 10.1 through 10.10, with the exception of 10.4, which was voted in affirmative earlier. Do you have any questions on those, Council?
Do not.
Okay. So with that being said, again, items 10.1 through 10.10, Councilperson Brooks,
Aye.
Councilperson Zupa,
Aye.
Councilperson Efros,
With just a caveat that on 10.7 resolution authorizing amendment with to the agreement with New York Waterways, I think just, continuing to get clarity on what the future of this relationship between the city and this private company that we're giving money to operate this service is. I think that's going to be necessary, but I vote aye.
thank you. Councilperson Little,
I will abstain on 10.7 for the reasons Councilman Efros gave. I want to make sure that they have a plan to be financially feasible without our continued subsidy. And I want, I would like to continue the discussion and to see that moving forward. But I vote aye on all the rest. Thank you.
thank you. Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye.
Councilperson Singh,
I vote aye on pretty much everything other than 10.7. Same thing. I would really like to dig deeper in that. What is the plan for future? And if we can get involved where we can get in, you figure it out, if the funding can be through the developers. So, thank you.
are you voting aye on all?
On other than 10.7,
Or are you voting on 10.7?
I'm not voting on 10.7.
So you're abstaining.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Councilperson Griffin,
Aye.
Councilperson LeVaro,
I know.
and Council President Ridley.
Aye.
Okay, if you can just allow me to recap, items 10.1 through 10.6 are approved unanimously 9-0. Item 10.7 is approved 7-0-2, with council members Little and Singh abstaining. Items 10.8 through 10.10 are approved unanimously 9-0. On to our next set of resolutions. Items 10.11 through 10.23, but before we take that vote, I believe 10.14, 15, and 16 are being withdrawn. I just want to confirm that with our business administrator.
That is correct.
Peter, do we have an update on 1011? I know we talked about it at length during the caucus meeting yesterday.
Yes, I believe the director.
Yeah, Director Anderson did circulate something, but I think the council was a little unsure. I think were under the impression that she was willing to have a conversation about it.
Right.
And it's still on the agenda. So are there any, I guess, specific deadlines, or what's the stance from community development?
Yeah, so the explanation the director provided you also indicated that there's a deadline of January 31st for these federal funds. The funds are subject to a drawdown requirement from the federal government. If we do not meet that deadline, then we may be subject to penalties, to them with, taking back the money, to a litany of issues. I will remind the council that this is back from, I believe, 2023 funding. So it did take a substantial amount of time to put this together. I do not think we'd be able to get anything completed in any kind of time list to have another vote on it. Obviously we don't have another council meeting until after that date as well. But it doesn't mean that other funds that we currently have for 2024 or beyond could not be put into the allocations that the council would prefer. And I would leave it to the director to have those conversations with the council to discuss what the best use of those funds would be.
The director's report that she provided us between last night and today indicated that a consequence of not making good on that drawdown by January 31st could include sanctions. Could you just describe the consequences of not making good on the drawdown?
I don't know the specific consequences as far as what the sanctions could represent. However, she did mention to me that there could be penalties, meaning that they could not withhold all the future funding from us. They could withdraw that money back, so we might lose it entirely. Those are all options that you mentioned. There might be more of them. I just don't know the exhaustive list.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, council members, so I'm going to be taking a vote on items 10.11 through 10.23 with the exception of 14, 15, and 16, which have been withdrawn by the administration. Councilperson Brooks.
Before I vote, I just want to comment on 10.11. I did reach out to someone in the department who told me that this was a grant that could have been fulfilled in a previous fiscal year, and the cost of equipment is rising year after year. So there is a note, I think I'm not sure the correct terminology, but the allocated amount is $515,000 for that particular vehicle, which I had sticker shock. But I did learn that fire trucks and fire engines cost over $1 million for a new rig. We do have an aging fleet. We have substitute trucks and engines. We also buy, my understanding is, used trucks and engines from volunteer companies, less wear and tear. They don't have the famous Jersey City roads that put wear and tear on our trucks and engines. So that's separate from this issue, but it was helpful to reach out to the department. And, I do remember Hurricane Ida. We had significant flooding on the west side. Climate change is unpredictable, and we might need this vehicle. It's not coming out of the public safety budget. So I will be voting yes on 10.11 through 10.23. And that's all I have to say on that. Thank you.
Okay. Councilperson Zupa.
Yes, on 10.11, I had reservations initially. The Skeeter high water rescue vehicle is meant for evacuation in flooding areas. But I appreciate Councilman Brooks's conversation with me today and sharing his conversations because it's not coming out of the city budget, because it's something that I trust the representation from the director on giving access to those with disabilities in the case of emergencies. I'm short on that. On 10.13, it's a citywide contract for snow removal as opposed to snow shoveling. It's an as-needed contract, so as the BA pointed out to us in yesterday's caucus, it is something we don't pay into or pay for until used, and it's clearly something needed based on our experience with the weekend storm. On 10.18, the fact that we have to pay for an emergency contract for salt, I think I shared Councilman Efros's concerns about getting recompense from Morton for their failure to provide services timely, and to the extent that there was any issue with our own failure to order salt, I encourage the DPW to look into that. And on 10.20, the payment for Twin Borough physical therapy, I would just echo my concern yesterday that the VA's office and the city administration encourage our vendors to bill monthly instead of 6 or 8 months later, so that we can, each department can keep a proper accounting of their own budget, and we can serve our role in that as well. With that, I vote aye on 10.11 to 10.23 with the three that were withdrawn.
Thank you. Councilperson Efros.
Yeah, similarly with 10.11, I would ideally love to see the CDBG monies going to other kinds of organizations. I understand seems like there's a limit to the nonprofit monies that could be allocated, but this is a seemingly really important vehicle. Wish that we could find different monies to fund it, but considering the urgency with the drawdown deadline being January 31st, I will support it. And just, on 10.13 and 10.18 regarding snow removal and salt, just want to take the opportunity to echo the frustration of so many residents, especially in Ward D, Heights and Slopes, who are continuing to struggle with just roads that are not what we deserve this far into the storm, or this far out of the storm, I should say. So, just what is preventing us from purchasing and stockpiling salt in warmer months when it would be cheaper to buy? And also, what is our plan for holding Morton accountable? There's a difference in the amount of money that we would spend on the Morton shipment that should have come, I believe it was in December, and that never came. And then the amount of money we spent on Atlantic, which we had to emergency spend during the storm, like the difference should be given back to us by Morton, in my opinion. I would love to see the administration's plan for holding them accountable and making sure we can be made whole there. Given those caveats, I vote aye on this page 10.11 through 10.23, with 14 through 16 being pulled.
Thank you. Councilperson Little.
On the high water rescue vehicle, I appreciated Director Anderson's willingness to share that information. And Gallagher, thank you for forwarding that to us today. I was able to take a look at that and read through it. I vote aye on 10.11. And similar comments to council members Zupa and Efros on the snow and the salt. Really want to see us recoup those funds from Morton if at all possible. That being said, I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Councilperson Gilmore.
Yeah, as it relates to 10.11, what always frustrates me, one is when we spend allocated money from previous years 2 and 3 years later. That's problematic in a nutshell. And then not only that, it's like you almost forced to vote yeah because there's penalties. You may lose the grant or whatever it is. It's 3 days away. I just think that sets a bad precedent for how a city should operate. Ideally, if it come in 23, there should be conversations last quarter 23, at the latest first quarter 24, to talk about what are the eligible items that can be obtained via the grant, what are the best uses for the grant. So my vote no is not saying that we don't utilize this. We wouldn't be able to utilize this vehicle. My no is essentially saying that there's processes that need to be in place to ensure that there's clear communication and transparency during the whole process. Like I said, I hate to receive anything today of, because sometimes I got to do due diligence to my due diligence, and I question myself all the time. So I'll vote no on 10.11 just for, logistical reasons, basically. And I vote aye on the rest.
Okay, Councilperson Singh.
Thank you, Councilman Joel, for the clarification on 1011. And I was quite confused yesterday. So I think I feel comfortable voting yes on that. But 10.13, a lot of complaints about snow removal. And I understand that we are new administration trying to, dig deeper in all these issues, but we have to do a better job next time for sure. I'll vote aye for this, and then salt, same thing. We know snow storm will be happening, and I think we have to do a better job. So having said that, I'll vote aye on all of them, 1011 to 1023. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Griffin.
On 10.11, I just want to express my disappointment in the disconnect between this department and our underserved communities. We have a lot of stakeholders in Jersey City in need of funding to continue the good work that they do. And, to look at funding that should have been spent 3 years ago, and now it comes to us, and we're saying the deadline is next week or Saturday. It's extremely disappointing. And, for the sake of that, I'm voting no on it. And I'll vote aye on everything else.
Thank you, Councilperson Navarro.
Let me begin with 10.18, the snow, the salt rather. To the BA, so with this emergency contract, do we already have the salt for the next snowstorm, or is it still on its way?
I think as the director explained at caucus, they are replenishing the salt as we need it. Of course, we're still salting the roads because there are safety concerns where the individual is throwing the snow back in the road, which involves more plowing and more salting. But we will have a full reserve of salt going into this weekend if there is any potential storm that would develop. And we'll be prepared to have a emergency contractor order more should we need to in the middle of the storm.
So that you're telling me we're going to have that salt this weekend for the snowstorm coming up?
That is correct.
I'm going to hold you to that. And then this open-end contract is underway on 10.13, is that correct?
What do you mean by underway?
Meaning the snow removals. Is it,
Not until it's approved. As you know, Councilman, if we don't approve it, we don't like to spend the money on it.
but we actually do, but. Because I could
Just trying to follow your orders, Councilman.
Contracts on this cal.
Just trying to follow your orders, Councilman.
I know, but if, and then, I forgot, I wanted to say something else, to Brittany. I wanted to offer my apologies, earlier regarding the whole conversation with the committees. I snapped in response to you, and I don't want that to be the norm for the relationship there, so I apologize, to you.
No worries, Councilman. You were correct and I misspoke. Obviously, we can have the committee. We just need to sunshine it, so.
Absolutely. My apologies. I don't want you to.
And I look forward to you snapping at me in the future.
Good trouble.
And
Usually they snap at me first, so.
With these claims, it's nothing personal on this. I voted against these before. I will vote against them now, just to send the message and clarify that these claims, in my opinion, are poor financial, it's mismanagement, and we need to correct that. And so I'm going to vote no on 1019 and 1020. I'm sorry, I'm going to vote no on 1020 and 1022.
So wait a minute.
Vote yes on 1019, because Bob Baker seemed to explain that there was another rationale for why this claim came before us, as opposed to it not renewing the contract in that sense.
Right? Yeah.
Then lastly, I just want to say on 10.11, is that on 10.11, as I said, I voted no on these before. These funds could be used for other purposes. It could be used for an anti-violence facility. It could be used for a youth center, as we talked about. $500,000. It could be used more productively for something else, for the purposes that CDBG dollars are intended for. And there's nothing against having a Skeeter high water rescue vehicle. And want to make sure our firefighters are well equipped and they have the vehicles, equipment that they need. But again, we need to start establishing some good precedents. And as Councilman Gilmore also pointed out, this is program money from 2023, and bringing it to us with a deadline of January 30th is, again, mismanagement of some sort going on that we need to correct. And it only corrects if we start to hold people accountable. That's one of the things that we've talked about throughout the evening, holding landlords accountable, holding city officials accountable. And this is what most of everyone in this city council, I think, ran on as well. So I'm going to vote no on 1011 as well. And I will vote yes on all the rest.
Okay, I have a question because you changed your vote on 1019. Which ones are you voting no against? 1020 and
1011.
1021?
1011,
That I know.
1020,
Okay,
and 1022.
so it's 1011, 1020, and 1022, voting no and aye on all the rest. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Council President Ridley.
Aye for all.
Okay. If I can just recap, item 10.11 is approved. 6-3, with council members Gilmore, Griffin, and Lavaro voting no. Items 10.12 and 13 are approved unanimously, 9-0. Items 10.17 through 10.19 are approved unanimously, 9-0. Item 10.20 is approved, 7-1, with Councilperson Lavaro voting no. Item 10.21 is approved unanimously, 9-0. And item 10.22 is approved, 8-1. 1020 is 8-1 and 1022 is 8-1, with Councilperson Lavaro voting no. And item 10.23 is approved unanimously, 9-0. On to the balance of our resolutions, and that will be items 10.24 through 10.34, with the exception if we are withdrawing 10.32 and 33. Just want to confirm that with the BA.
That is correct. As stated at caucus, 1032, 1033, we will be withdrawing until the next meeting.
Then
Okay.
President, I have a question. if I may.
you have questions on this row, right? Okay.
Yep. 10.34, just the Meritain Health. Is that going to you, Peter, or is someone here?
Representative here.
Peters, that's,
Oh,
I think.
It's me now.
Yes, with the,
No.
You're it.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's my understanding there's a clause in here around performance and being able to kind of opt out if performance is not achieved. Can you speak to that directly yourself or anyone at the table?
Which clause specifically are you speaking about? Do you have it in front of you, Councilman?
I don't know where it's located. That's the problem. So
So it's generally, if there's a
175
breach
shot.
of some kind of contract or they did not meet the performance, then we always have the option to withdraw from that. That would go for almost all of our contracts. There's usually a cure period, but in this case, everything they're providing is at a standard of equal to or better. So if they weren't providing any kind of performance to us, the first step would be to identify where they did not think that performance was adequate. If it was an obscure claim or something that was a benefit that's not accessed regularly by our employees and for some reason was coded wrong, the first option would be to have them to contact us, or the employee would contact us and the third party administrator, the broker, identify where the issue is. They would do a review, and then because of that equal to or better clause, they would have to reimburse everything to the employee. So we wouldn't be on the hook for it. There would be no change in benefits to the actual employee.
So in terms of ensuring that it's equal to or better, who is going to be responsible for ensuring that services are equal to or better for our employees and retirees?
Well, initially they do a review. So we have multiple different plans for all the different employees. Those plans are provided to the new provider, Aetna. They have to, review them plans themselves. Some of these plans are hundreds of pages long, so it's not a small process, but they review them. They set the actual standards within the organization to provide those benefits. And then if there's anything that pops up where an employee would identify that there is not an issue and brings to our attention, we would correct it. But the plans initially get reviewed by our broker and by Aetna, who, make sure they code the system to equal the plans that we had previously under the old provider and that are guaranteed by the individual contracts.
I have a question. Last night at caucus, I asked the administration So they were going to be having a virtual town hall meeting, I believe, with city employees today. And they were also going to be meeting with union leadership today. And I asked if they could provide the union leadership with our emails, if they had any concerns that they wanted to reach out to us about. Can someone verify whether or not that happened? And was anyone at either of those meetings and can sort of fill us in?
So yes, yes, and yes.
Okay.
The union leadership meeting actually occurred on Monday. There were 2 virtual meetings with the uniformed officer unions, which are police, fire, et cetera. We also had a meeting with the civilian unions, 246, 245, 641, the whole gambit. Those meetings had individual presentations. Our broker, Robert Parisi, also followed up with those unions with any questions they may have provided them documentation, and is continuing to do so. Today, the mayor had a citywide town hall for all employees where he answered questions, had the broker explain the benefits to him in detail, and explain that we have a system with a email and phone number set up for any employees that might have additional questions going forward. And then lastly, yes, I did provide the unions with all the council members' emails. I try to BCC everyone. I think your email might not still be working, so we'll have to figure that one out for you, Councilwoman. But yes, everyone, all those things are provided.
Peter, I'm sorry. So I heard
Like
from,
she ain't finished.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Thank you, Peter. Since my city email is not working yet, can I ask my council colleagues if any of the union leadership reached out to you with any concerns?
Well, I reached out to the union people personally because, I know a few of them. I guess the sentiment is like they're not for or against it. I guess the bigger thing, like it's such a it's a hard decision, but is there any way, what if anything would happen if we would say, all right, we'll do the contract, but we want to do a 1.5 years versus 3 or 2 versus 3? Does that drastically change anything?
So the RFP that was originally provided back in 2025, structured for a 3-year.
Right there.
The expert has arrived. However, I'll answer your question, Councilman. The RFP that originally went out was for a 3-year term with an option to renew. However, again, if there's a issue with the benefit, a breach in the contract, things of that nature that the councilman alluded to, we can always revisit that through the city. But, I do not anticipate that happening because of the equal to or better clause, which is like the gold standard of, the seal from these, the organizations, because when you have that, they are guaranteed to provide the same benefits or better benefits. And if they aren't, we have a recourse to get them corrected from the providers.
Well, I'm thankful for the dialogue we did have, but just so me and administration is on the same page, when there's things that can be considered drastic change to employees, for me to vote I would have to be comfortable with not just a meeting taking place with the union, but understanding their impact, understanding their input and their concerns. And I would really like time to iron this stuff out. Like I said, I am thankful that, the meetings were called, they explained to us in detail, they reached out to employees, but that 72-hour time frame that we call it the knee-jerk reaction. Right. So if we can just have more time to have the dialogue, it would be really.
I understand that, Councilman, and unfortunately, time is the one that we don't have with this. As you know, this process started publicly back in 2025 with the RFP. Those responses were received, I think, in July or August of 2025. For whatever reasons, the previous administration did not want to move on them, which could have given the council, the public, the employees more time to digest this and properly roll it out starting in January. However, because that was not done, every day we do not act on this, we are potentially spending an additional $2.5 million that the city wouldn't have to spend. If we delayed any further, again, the backside of this is not just the switch happening, but the provider has to do a lot of things on their end to make it happen. And they can't really do that until they have the certainty that we've been moving forward in that direction. So by delaying it, it could lead a delay into when it would actually start instead of the March 1st date. And then again, we'd be on the hook for an extra $2.5 million we wouldn't have to spend otherwise.
I understand all of that, but in the interest of public input, which is extremely important, we just have to have things done in a reasonable time. It's just a huge decision. Healthcare is like the number one important thing in the world, so we just need to, have times to vet the process. That's all I'm at.
Can I ask what kinds of concerns came up from Jersey City employees during the meeting earlier today? And, were there any outstanding concerns that folks felt like were not getting answered by administration, by your insurance broker?
I can only speak to what questions were asked and answered. Every question that was asked that we had during that meeting was answered. Any question that couldn't be answered, which I don't really think there were any, but Rob, correct me. Rob, who was our broker, committed to following up with them directly through email and through phone calls. So every question that was answered during the meeting, Rob or the team answered, I think, satisfactorily. And any question that come forward, his team committed to providing answers for.
Okay, so, so several of us, if not all of us, heard from a retired employee, and his concern was that he's under an old contract, and he feel like he's going to lose his insurance because the city's under a new contract or something like that.
So that might be a question better for Rob.
Yeah, Rob, I reached out earlier about that because we did receive an email or two from retirees. I believe that was the only people that reached out, at least to me. So how are we handling that with retirees? And I know it could be maybe difficult to reach them since they're no longer here, but how is that process?
And real quick, Rob, before you start, can you just introduce yourself and kind of explain?
Yeah, I was going to start by first apologizing. You moved through your agenda faster than I thought you did. I apologize for being a little late tonight, Council President. My name is Robert Parisi. I represent the city in their employee benefits as a consultant to work with the administration of the employees' medical and prescription coverage. So to your question on the retirees, and you mentioned it, sometimes they're hard to connect with because sometimes emails we have aren't as accurate. Sometimes they move without letting the city know of new addresses. So we already started the process of reaching out to retirees. We actually have, I believe, 2 webinars scheduled with retirees that they're being invited to. A mailing is scheduled to go out pending council approval. So we've worked with, in the short time we've worked with the city, we've worked with the retirees on a few other projects. So we've improved the database and the communication ability, and we're gonna work that aggressively any way we can to keep them informed as to what's happening.
Hey, Rob, quick question, Rob. What, if anything, would happen if an individual who's receiving, I don't know, dialysis, chemo, or any one of those type of procedures, and that provider is not in the new network? How does that play out? Are they allowed to continue that treatment or that procedure under that care provider, even though they're not in network? What happens in that instance?
So great question, Councilman. So yes, that is, and it's been one of the questions that have come up with some of the discussions with employees. So under the continuity of care provision, that care would continue. And even if a provider happened to be out of network, it gets recognized as in network. So no one, if a procedure's maybe already scheduled for March 2nd, it's going to be honored. The pre-authorization is going to be accepted. There's not going to have to start over. And even if the provider's not in network, it gets recognized as in network, at least for the first 12 months. If care is ongoing, it would extend beyond that.
Okay.
So no one has to be concerned. And we've tried to stress this with all the employee communication. No one has to worry about that. Even if they're not, it gets recognized as if they are.
Because I wanted to keep my same psychiatrist, so that's.
You might want
They're
to.
usually out of network. I have a question. Councilmember Brooks, thanks, Mr. Preety. The retiree healthcare, is that supplemental to Medicare? How does that work? I'm not
So
familiar.
the retirees are structured in two different ways. There's the pre-65. As you know, a lot of employees can retire with full benefits prior to 65. And then there's the post-65. And that's kind of how the plans are broken up. And yes, to your point, at the post-65, Medicare acts as the primary and the city's coverage acts as the supplemental.
That's true for Horizon now and then
Yes.
Meritain.
Yeah, yeah. What some entities have done and the city's looked at is to replace the post-65 coverage with the Medicare Advantage program, which coordinates better with Medicare. And that's quite honestly something we would want to look at in the future because it can provide actually a better, a more seamless coverage for those retirees at a savings to the city. So something we'd like to look at in the future.
Can you explain again how you handle the pre-65?
So the pre-65, they're just, again, retirees that we're communicating with. Their coverage is a lot more closely aligned with the actives because they don't have the Medicare as the primary coverage. So we're working with communicating with them as well. So when I say retirees in terms of communication, it's both the pre-65 and the post-65. And that population in total is about 2,400 retirees.
So before you arrived, I'd asked a question and Peter responded. I'd like to hear your response on it. So this idea that, what's the terminology, better or equal, something like that?
Equal to or better than.
Equal to or better than. So equal to or better than services be provided by Meritain. And so who is evaluating that? On what basis is equal to or better than defined? And then And who is doing that for us to ensure that we're getting equal to or better to, and ultimately monitoring? Is that an ongoing process of monitoring equal to or better than services or performance? Is it services or performance or what is it? Equal to or better than?
It would mostly be benefits, to be honest with you, or you could say services too. But so the initial question is who monitors it on behalf of the city, and that's us. So we're already working with Meritain to make sure they have the proper documentation. The benefit summaries are what's referred to as the SPDs, the summary plan documents, which is the official document that any carrier in New Jersey would create as the official plan document. So we would make sure that the plans they structure match each of those plans. I think there's about 11 or 12 different plans that the city offers. So we would make sure they all be identical. And in this case, not uncommon, some of the unions and some of the unions have even banded together. They're working with some of consultants in the industry to make sure what we produce is the same. So they have another set of eyes on it, just like we're doing. So not uncommon that everyone wants to make sure. I think I mentioned last night, or at least when we had a chance to meet, that the equal to or better than standard, that's gospel. That's most important. So everyone's going to do everything they can to make sure for March 1st, every benefit, everything's perfect. But even if we were to find 6 months later that some co-payment for, maybe a not overused procedure is wrong, we correct it. So they have the right to have the benefits they have. We're going to do everything possible. And I think 100%, it'll be 100% by March 1st. But if some reason something gets detected, even a year from now, it gets corrected because the equal to or better than standard, especially in New Jersey, that's the standard. So the benefits are going to match. We'll do everything we can to make them comfortable that they will. And as I mentioned, some of them are working with consultants to double check our work, but that's the standard and we're going to live up to that.
What about service delivery? So like, what if somebody gets their claim denied and then they're trying to get their reimbursement and they're not able to get that, or it gets denied by the provider in this case, and then and they go through a process and they're fed up and they're pissed off. Who's monitoring that to know whether, and then ultimately they do cover it after like putting them through the ringer, and people hate insurance companies, frankly. It's we've had murders literally, right? So that happens to people, and so who's monitoring that? Like I know for myself, when I was a city councilman, Express Scripts and I have a lot of different ailments and I was trying to get my medication. And it was so frustrating to be on the phone with them. I think I swore at a city council caucus meeting when the folks came in about that. And I swore that if you ever came before me again for renewal, I would never vote for it. I said, because my experience, and I can just imagine what other Jersey City employees went through of trying to get my medication renewed at the time. And I'm not even, I was a younger man then. Now I'm not, frankly, but so who's monitoring that to see how that level of performance is and whether it's worth us staying in the system because our city employees, retirees, and others are feeling like they're not getting adequate service?
So to a large extent, our office does. Now, we're only working with the city about a year and 3 or 4 months, but outside of work in this RFP process, and this may be more formal process, the day-to-day activity in our office is getting calls, most often of complaints from active or retirees having issues with claims. So I don't want to say that there's never going to be problems, but at the same time, I don't want to say that there hasn't been problems with Horizon. Like, is it hard to poke holes in health insurance in America? No, not really. So that's going to happen, but to a large extent, that's what our job is. So we hear from different employees almost every day, whether it's Express Scripts, as you mentioned, there's often problems with prescriptions. So to a large extent, that's what our job would be to monitor. And I think I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned last night, I apologize if I didn't, but the contract requires and provides a 20% service guarantee. So if we really find after 6 months that the issues are bad, I'm going to come back to the council and say, let's exercise this clause in the contract and take back 20% of they're going to owe us 20% back of their fees. So and it's part of the RFP, but the carriers have to commit and guarantee a certain level of quality that is in a way arbitrary. We get to decide if they're just not living up to the promises and they're going to owe the city back 20% of the fees. So there is a level of protection and carriers have to commit to providing good service or they're going to have to pay a 20% fee.
What if we think they're not living up to their obligation, the level of service, but they think they are, right? We have the same thing with regional and our trash collector. They think they're doing a bang-up job, right? And we think they're not. Like, how do we, how do we ensure that we're getting back our money or canceling that contract or whatever we need to do?
I can't speak to what the garbage contract might be, but with health insurance, again, we would be right back here saying, let's get rid of Meritain and bring back Horizon, or let's talk to United or talk to Cigna. So they're going to be motivated candidly to keep the case. So if there are issues to the point where the council feels we want to enact that fee, I won't speak for them, but I'm pretty sure they're going to want to do everything they can to make you happy. So and that's been my experience with Meritain and quite honestly, all carriers. They're all trying. It's not an easy task to keep people happy in what is a very complicated, complex medical system in America. So I think there's going to be issues. There are issues now. As I mentioned, it's not a knock on Horizon. It's just the health insurance industry as a whole. We field calls from employees for all our clients every day, with other carriers. But so if that happens, we're going to do everything we can to help them as we do now. And if it really got to the point where we think it was excessive and we came back to the council, my gut is Meritain would be standing right next to me doing everything they could to fix the problem or, pay the fine that they're guaranteeing.
We got a couple other council people.
Just one comment I have, Rob. We hope to.
Mamta, 1 second. Mike has been waiting for a second.
Was there an analysis done to tell us how many employees are using doctors out of the network?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's really what drives the savings. So what we found in looking at 18 months of data, we identified 2,114 doctors that Jersey City employees and their dependents are using that are not in network with Horizon, but will be in network with Aetna. That's a huge cost swing in the favor of the city. So right now, that amounted to about 50 million Say that again, 50 million in billable charges at a network that would be in network. So that's a huge reason why we recommend this and feel so strongly that this is a big savings, providing the same benefits to the employees at a savings to the city, because a lot of the doctors your employees are using are in network with Aetna, but they're not with Horizon. Yeah.
And
I didn't hear you.
Wait, you got to speak into the mic and only one person at a time.
Jake and Mamta.
thank you. And I just wanted to clarify, and about 200 city employees have doctors they've used in the past year, was it? That would be out of network with the new Aetna plan if we were to go with it, but they would be treated as if they were in network. Is that correct?
It wasn't 200 employees, it was 200 doctors.
200 doctors,
Yeah,
excuse me.
200 doctors. So yes, there was 2,114 and 200 in the other way. So again, in both cases, let's be candid. A lot of those doctors, and we looked at the data, some of it was a member used the doctor once, never went back. So it wasn't ongoing treatments. But to your point, if it is ongoing treatments, they're going to be recognized as in network. And what's important too, keep in mind, and this isn't Meritain only, any carrier does this, when they take over a plan, if there's a provider that is used frequently by the members of that entity, they're going to do everything they can to get them in network. And generally speaking, a provider who sees a lot of Jersey City patients who might not be in Aetna, but it's in Horizon, if the city changes to Meritain, that doctor's going to want to join Aetna. So what happens often when we work on these transitions, a lot of the doctors who are not in the network end up joining because they want to keep patients. And Meritain will work on recruiting them.
I have a question. Mamta? Sure, thank you.
No worries. Rob, quick question. We hope that we'll be happy with Aetna, but if we decide to change after 6 months, as you were telling Councilman Rolando, are there going to be penalties, fines, or the process going to be smooth? How would that happen?
No, so I would say it would be smoother to go back, but honestly, because it's again, look, keep in mind, good thing about technology, these processes are much easier than they were even 7-8 years ago. So the enrollment is really a file that's completely uploaded. So there's no forms. So moving back would not be a problem. Even though there's a contract, I'm not a lawyer, but your lawyers can tell you, municipalities have a lot of leverage in getting out of contracts. So if it's really not working out, the lawyers can weigh in, but the city has the right to terminate the contract and move to another carrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going to take Councilman Brooks, and then we're going to call for the vote. Councilman Brooks.
Thank you. So looking at the attachment to the resolution, it appears that some, let's see here, some of the cost information and the pricing was redacted. I'm guessing that's just a standard business practice that it's kind of proprietary trade information. Can you speak to that?
Yes, so part of the evaluation is not only evaluating the providers that your members are using, which is a big driver, as I mentioned, but it's also what happens when they go to in-network providers and what discounts have those providers contracted with Aetna or United or Cigna or the Blues. So part of the RFP process is asking the carriers to disclose what their discounts are in geographic regions. Some of them have different size regions, some of them have very tight regions. And part of the evaluation was looking at that. That information is provided as part of the RFP, listed as confidential. But part of that evaluation showed that candidly, the Aetna discounts are far superior to what Horizons are. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory to Horizon. They're an important carrier in New Jersey, but based on their own submissions, Aetna's numbers were superior. So that's a big part of our recommendation, because not only is a lot of utilization going to go from out of network to in network, but now it's going to be discounted at a greater rate for the city. So the employees are still going to pay their same co-payments. Someone's got to pay the balance, and that's what the city pays. And in this case, that balance is going to be less than it's been with Horizon. So again, I'm not here to talk disparagingly about Horizon. They're a big carrier, important to New Jersey. I have a lot of clients with Horizon. I just think after spending a lot of months looking at this data, in my professional opinion, the city's plan is not functioning well, and it might be providing care, and that's important, but there's a financial component to this. And I think the city can do much better while providing the same care that the employees not only are guaranteed, but like I mentioned yesterday, that all of you, you can't help but feel a moral obligation that your employees get good coverage. And I think this is going to provide them good coverage with the tools to perform better financially.
Thank you. Sorry, last, if I may.
Okay, council members, remember the caucus is for the questions.
Yes, and for the public that's watching, we did not get a copy of this resolution. It was a late item. So we're looking at it in real time and want to make sure that we look under the hood. So just for the record, I don't know if it's BA or law department, can you stipulate that the redacted sections have been reviewed by the administration?
Yes, so when we have the RFP process, once returned, we review all the data internally. We meet with our broker, we have discussions about it, and we make a decision based on that data and based on the full analysis provided by the broker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Two things from me. Last two, I promise.
Okay.
So the cost savings is driving us. And then better or equal to quality of service or benefits rather. Can you, and you're the one monitoring this for us. Can you commit to returning to this council on at least a quarterly basis, the cost savings that the city is realizing, and some assessment of the better and equal to benefits, but also, as I mentioned earlier, these employees, and if we're capturing and getting feedback, because as Councilman Gilmore said, this is a big shift for a lot of people who've been on Horizon, Blue Cross Blue Shield, which I talk to employees who say, and retirees who say, it's the gold standard. We got the Cadillac here in Jersey City for health insurance, and they feel like they're not driving the Caddy anymore. So can you guarantee that for us, and to come back and provide us a quarterly report or a progress update on those two metrics or two standards?
Councilman, with the council's permission, I'd happy to come back on a quarterly basis to give you a review of numbers and of how things are going. I'm happy to do that.
What's the second one, Rolando?
The last one was the Better Business Bureau for Meritain, not Aetna, Meritain. It seemed to me some records there that they're not rated very well by Better Business Bureau. Can you speak to that at all, or do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's fine. I actually spoke to Meritain about that today, and I guess a couple of things. I don't really know how the Better Business Bureau works, but insurance carriers aren't even registered with the Better Business Bureau. Generally speaking, and I think we could all, kind of respect this, the Better Business Bureau is more like for small businesses. It's not something that really rates the insurance industry. There are other services that rate the insurance industry with, candidly, Meritain rates very well. But I think in fairness, I don't think it's hard to imagine that people would criticize insurance companies. So I don't really know. I don't want to minimize the role the Better Business Bureau plays in our world, but I don't know that reviews about insurance companies are necessarily valid. There are a number of organizations that judge and rate the insurance industry that might be more valuable. And those, rate Meritain and Horizon, well. So I didn't see the
like Google reviews. No, just kidding. I'm joking.
Yeah, I don't want to minimize it, and I'm certainly not minimizing the question.
No
I just think it's not hard for any of us to imagine that it's easy to criticize health insurance companies.
Got it.
I think, Councilman, just quickly add to that every plan, every private company, every public institution that has them, they have all different structured plans. So just because a person reviewed it online or gave a opinion of it doesn't mean they have the plans to be administered to Jersey City specifically, especially with that language of equal to or better. So they might have a different experience because their employer switched to Aetna, but if they didn't have the same plans or weren't providing the same package they're providing to us, it's really apples to oranges.
And Peter, and I don't want to belabor it, sorry, Council President, but that's a great point. The article, some of those articles themselves, they reference prescriptions, that they couldn't get prescriptions. In this case, we're not moving prescriptions. And a couple of them mentioned that their co-payments were different. So in this case, that's not the issue because the benefits are going to be the same.
Yep.
So those just were some of the points I saw in what I saw. I didn't read the whole thing.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
All right,
consideration.
on.
Are we sure?
Yep. let's
Anyway,
roll.
all right.
You better take it while it's an opportunity.
I'm going to do it right now. All right, council members, we're going to be taking a vote on items 10.24 through 10.34 with the exception of 10.32 and 33, which has been withdrawn. Councilperson Brooks.
I vote aye on all, and I just want to make a brief statement on 10.34 to union members watching this meeting. Refer to your collective bargaining agreements. And I think there's been some questions around what can be done if the benefits are not equal to or better than. So you heard from Mr. Parisi that that's part of his role is to make sure that the benefits are equal to or better than. But if your union disagrees, they have a contractual right to contest that as well. So I vote aye.
Councilperson Zupa.
Just briefly on 1028, eagle-eyed observer will see that Pershing Field is not mentioned, but as we discussed yesterday, Pershing Field is taken care of in landscaping by a different contract. And I share my colleagues' concerns that we should bring in landscaping services in-house. We have a lot of Jersey City residents who would be great employees, and we should be doing that. To 10.34, the fact that it says late item in bold obviously gives me caution. I was critical of the prior administration for putting forward items to the point where the public, in this case our employees, could not organize in time to come speak to us or speak to the council. That was true in my conversation today with one of the retirees who told me that he learned through social media about the change. So that certainly gives me caution when we're voting on something of this magnitude. I'm concerned. That concern is alleviated slightly by the fact that through the presentation that Mr. Parisi gave, and thank you for that, earlier this week, it's not just that the city will be saving money, it's more importantly, our employees will be better off. The cost of healthcare has increased year after year since 2022 statewide, but also for our employees. Based on the numbers I saw, it was almost 79% that the employees have been paying more for healthcare under Horizon since 2021. And under the new Aetna plan, they'll be saving 8% this year, which is huge. Of the providers that our employees see, 88% of them are in network with Aetna, as opposed to only 69% with Horizon. And there are 2,115 providers that our employees see that will be in network with Aetna, and they're not currently in network with Horizon. Our employees will have the same copays and deductibles. And this is very important. The lawyer in me was satisfied with this, that the city can terminate the contract with Aetna with 30 days notice to Meridian without cause, meaning the city can, if it's not working for our employees and we hear back, the city can take action to cancel the contract. And I would, of course, ask our law department to stay on top of that in the event that this is not as good as it seems to be. This is no criticism of the current administration. They had to act quickly to make this work, and I vote aye on all 10.24 to 10.34.
Councilperson Efros.
Just want to echo the sentiments around 10.28. We really should be getting moving on having in-house landscaping for our parks. And I hope that this can be the kind of last 3-month extension that we do with a private contractor. On 10.34, I'll try and be brief here. A good moment to remember that in 2021, at the end of that year, this city council, or the former city council, passed a resolution in support of Medicare for All. Medicare for All would be one of the most cost-saving things that we could do as a people, and we should renew our efforts to fight. And for people who have been fighting for Medicare for All, disability rights advocates and healthcare advocates, commend you, salute you, because this is just one of the most transformative policies that as a state or as a country we could undergo to save our cities, and our union members incredible headaches when trying to navigate these plans. On the timeline of this, obviously, yeah, city employees and unions, I wish they had some more time. And I understand any frustration that folks might have. As council, we need staff to be able to review proposed policy from the administration, while also making good on the many constituent service demands out there. And just to note, for the past days, while this proposal has been given to us from administration, our offices have been in a position of mitigating an incredibly frustrating snowstorm effort, answering just countless calls, emails, texts, Instagram DMs, Facebook comments, you name it. And we're really not put in a position to do serious independent analysis outside of what I, do commend the really in-depth presentations we've been given from administration. So I do want to appreciate that. But, just shout out to my staff, Ziafu and Zeke, for handling just a flurry or blizzard, pun intended, of constituent concerns the past days, right? With that being said, I am going to take a leap of faith based on my confidence in and respect for the administration, that this plan is going to save us money, and we are going to make good on providing equal or better benefits for our city employees. And I would hope that the $2.5 million that we save in the next month by acting on this now can be put toward covering, and then some, each of our council offices to have the maximum amount of staff that we are legally allowed under state law, so that we can continue to do our jobs and do our due diligence as the legislative body of this city government. So with that, I vote aye on all.
Councilperson Little.
I want to echo the comments on 10.28 about bringing these services in-house, as we discussed extensively at caucus yesterday as well. My hope is that we can move towards bringing these services in-house, creating good city jobs for Jersey City residents, and also by bringing them in-house, we will have more ability to, train workers in horticultural expertise and things of that matter, instead of relying on the landscaping companies' possible limitations. I remember when the native plant garden in Riverview Park was chopped down due to a miscommunication, and would hate to see a repeat of that. So I also support looking into bringing these in-house, both for cost savings and for greater oversight. But that being said, I do support extending the 3-month contract that is put forward in 10.28. As for 10.34, I too wish we had more time to review this. If it were not for the $2.5 million expense if we were to push this towards the next meeting, I would be clamoring to push this to the next meeting. I am relieved to hear that, that city employees and union members, union representatives were met with. I'm grateful for my council colleagues and Councilman Gilmore for sharing that the unions are neither for nor against this. And there's not, there is a lot of uncertainty. But that being said, I appreciated the detailed presentation we were given. Again, wish we could have had more time to review this, and between the equal or better provision and the immense cost savings to the city, to the taxpayers, I do fall on the side of in favor of this, again, with those reservations that we've expressed. I also want to echo Councilmember Lavaro's request for quarterly updates on this. Mr. Parisi, if you'd be willing to come before us, I think that would be a really positive thing, so that we can, continue to monitor this, because this is a big change. And finally, before I cast my vote, I too would like to echo Councilman Efros's calls for Medicare for all, which would solve a lot of these problems. On that note, I vote aye for all. Thank you.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Yeah, as it relates to 28, like I said previously, I just would like to see as many services provided in-house as possible. As it relates to 1034, Bill, I hope you got room in your office. You're gonna be my new best friend for this next year. Just so we watch this transition to make sure, because I know the phones are gonna be blowing up. And I just want to be able to provide my constituency with responses as it relates to the nuance and everything that's going on. So in light of all that, I vote aye.
Councilperson Singh.
So I'll vote aye for 1024 to 1034. And I want to add, change is always difficult in the beginning, but we will be positive. Current administration is trying everything possible to save taxpayers' money, and I think all of us want to do that. Yes, the time would have been great, but right now the decision has been, we are making the decision because it's 2.5 monthly, and we have to start this by March 1st. And the presentation by Rob, it was great. He answered a lot of questions we had. I would like to be positive about it, and I love the idea that quarterly review would give us insight. And if we hear a lot of residents complaining and employees, for that matter, complaining, then we can obviously connect with Rob to answer the questions. So I'll vote aye for 1034 too. Thank you.
Councilperson Griffin.
Okay, so for 1024, the same sentiment I had for the skeeter truck. I think there's a disconnect here with the city and residents here in the city, because this is an opportunity to bring jobs to the communities in our city, to young adults, to people who would like to be engaged with the city and in landscaping and things like that. So we definitely need to look more into doing things like that. And for 1034, I mean, yes, we are moving fast. I think that the presentation and the answers that we got tonight were, well, they satisfied me, and I think my colleagues. So I'm going to go ahead and vote aye all the way down.
Councilperson LeBarrow.
Let me start with 1024, 1026, 1027. Those are claims. As I did previously, I'll vote no on those claims. I'm sorry, and 1024 to 1027. So that's 1024, 1025, 1026, 1027.
You're voting no on them.
No. Yep. And so to 1034, a couple of things. First of all, just I had asked for a copy of the presentation. I never got that. So I'd ask that you still furnish me with that presentation.
Sorry, Councilman, I provided it to the administration. I guess maybe.
You guys email it? Yeah, okay. And then the second thing I asked for was a copy of the recording of the call with the employees. I was told it might be done. It might have been recorded. I'm not sure, but if that's still available, if that's available, I'd like a copy of that.
It was recorded. The intent is to put it on the website. That way, anyone who couldn't participate could review it.
As I go through, I have an email from a local 246 employee at 9:15 p.m. saying that they weren't able to participate in that call. They couldn't log in. So there were some breakdowns, at least from one account. And, you know, I do this with great hesitancy and trepidation. The rush nature of all this is disconcerting. It's difficult for me. So that being said, as everyone has cited, there's the major thing here is the cost savings and the promise of equal and better quality benefits. And so we will monitor this and make sure that Jersey City employees and retirees get the service that they deserve. Retirees in uniformed officers who put their lives on the line and their wrist, and they count on these benefits. They've always counted on these benefits as employees. Particularly, we all do count on them, but particularly our police and firefighters who depend on this because of the nature of their job. So the big driver here is the cost savings of $2.5 million per month has been cited. But that in and of itself is not it. It's not, and we'll find out more, and members of this council know that there's that we have budget problems, and people across the table here, we know we have budget problems, and we've got $2.5 million savings with a potential of $30 million savings annually, right? Or more, right? So, and so we've got serious budget problems in Jersey City, and we need to start addressing that and take urgent action. And so this is the first step. And so while I wouldn't normally take this step, just given the urgency and the crisis that we may be meeting, I will commend the administration for moving quickly to try to get whatever savings we can get while still preserving quality services, which we hope will be maintained. And but we will also ensure and monitor that to make sure that it is maintained. So with that, I'll vote aye on all the rest. And for the best for our city employees and retirees.
Councilperson Ridley, Council President Ridley. Sorry, I'm tired.
That's okay. Still my name. I would say that, as was mentioned by other council people, we know this was rushed, and kudos to the administration for making sure that they reached out to each council member individually, that they set up presentations with Rob for each of the council members, that they did a town hall. I did attend the town hall. They did answer questions that were posed by the employees. They answered everything on that call. And yes, this is moving very quickly, but as of right now, based on all the information, I believe it is the right decision. And with that, I vote aye for all.
Thank you. Just to recap, items 10.24 is approved 8-1 with Councilperson Lavoro voting no. Item 10.25 is approved 8-1, Councilperson Lavoro voting no. 10.26, same vote 8-1 with Councilperson Lavoro voting no. And 10.27, 8-1, Councilperson Lavoro voting no. Items 10.28 through 10.31 are approved unanimously 9-0, and 10.34 is approved unanimously 9-0. With that being said, may I have a motion to adjourn at 9:54 p.m.?
Motion.
Motion made by Councilperson Griffin. May I have a second? Second by Councilperson Zupa. All in favor of the motion to adjourn at 9:54 p.m. All council members present by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
We are out of here at 9:54 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone present and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have a great rest of the night. Stay safe.
True.